Hello, adventurers, and welcome. Is this a group flight? Asks friend to all. Friend to all. Any flight we do on this network can be a group flight, if you would like it to be. We are on the VATSIM network. I saw you did a server command. So we're on the VATSIM network. So on VATSIM, it does not matter which of the VATSIM servers you connect to. You always end up in the same virtual world on VATSIM. So we're not on part of the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 multiplayer server network. So if you want to participate, you would need to be a VATSIM member. Now, the planes that you're seeing over to your right, I'm pretty sure those are static. Those are part of the scenery. So I don't think there's anybody else here. We did see an airliner kind of roll by on the arrival runway. I'm not sure if that was an actual airliner or if that was a general aviation plane being rendered as an airliner, or what that was. Let's see if we can see. There's one connected on the ground. That's me. I don't. When you did the route command earlier, I don't have a flight plan filed just yet for tonight. So what you were seeing was the most recent one we did in the DC-6, which was that Dallas Love to Memphis from the other night. If that was maybe a 748 departing. Maybe, possibly, from New Bedford to Kennedy. Okay, maybe that's what we saw then. We saw it roll past just as the title screen went down. So, anyway, I kind of make an adjustment to the stream mix here. I'm still tinkering with the stream mix, guys, and I apologize for that. It's we're just trying to get the mix reoriented to the new microphone. The new microphone was clipping a little bit the last couple times, so hopefully it's sounding a little bit better today, and we just need to rebalance everything to it, basically. So just bear with me while why is that cranked all the way up again? We gotta get that down. I don't know what we had that at, but we had it maybe to about there. So we'll see how that does us. Alright, anyway, we are doing the Wings over New England training flights offered by the Boston Virtual ARTCC. And I'll show you here in just a moment. This is Boston Virtual ARTCC's website. And they have a series of 30 training flights, and it's 6. No. Friend to all, it was just pulling the flight plan that I filed most recently, which was on Monday night, which was the DC-6 flight that we did. The Wings over New England series, 6 VFR flights and 24 IFR flights that are all designed to be done, studied on your own. They provide some, lesson material here and information on what you need to do in order to successfully complete each flight. And each one that you do, the flights get progressively more complex in terms of the VFR procedures involved, again, through the 6 VFR flights, and then with the IFR procedures involved, again, with the 24 IFR flights. Obviously, IFR procedures are a little bit more complicated and involved, especially when you get into some of the more advanced concepts that this series does indeed cover. So, we have done on this stream VFRs number 1 through 6, and IFRs number 1 through 10. We are going to do number 11 tonight. If we have time, I'll proceed on to 12. However, 11 is kind of I build it as a 2-hopper. It's not really a 2-hopper. It's one where we'll do a primary flight, but then we'll end up diverting. We'll go over the specific specs now. Boston Virtual ARTCC's website did say that they are expecting to have center coverage starting at 7:45 Eastern Time. I'm not sure if what we're hearing is what we're hearing. Yeah, so I do have a box fan on in the background. That is helping keep me cool while the the Slant Alpha air conditioner situation continues to boil. I think what we're hearing, though, is sim sound effects. Anyway, so we're supposed to have center coverage starting at 7:45. So by the time we're done briefing this very complicated flight, we might have center coverage on. We got Boston Approach on. They've been on for about an hour and a half. And then we got Syracuse that just popped up a few moments ago. And we got some local control down at Nantucket. And that's all we've got for the moment. But we're supposed to have center pop on in a little bit, and hopefully they will hold to that. All right, so Wings IFR 11. Again, this is BVARTCC.com is the Boston Virtual ARTCC on VATSIM. It's a controller and pilot community that is part now of the VATSIM network. We're looking at IFR number 11. Again, the flights all build on concepts that were taught in the previous ones. And as a matter of fact, the other thing that they do is they all pick up from the place that you last left off. So it ends up being a nice tour of the Boston airspace. We are at New Bedford. This is where we last landed at the end of IFR flight number 10. We are going to plan a flight to, we're going to end up at Portland. We're going to plan a flight to Plymouth, but we're going to end up at Portland. And like I said before, what's going to happen is we're going to go from New Bedford to Plymouth, PYM, and then we're going to continue on to Portland. But we'll talk about exactly what's going to happen there and why we're going to continue on to Portland here down in a little bit. The first thing they talk about is the obstacle departure procedure from non-towered airports, but now they're saying we've got an obstacle departure procedure from a towered airport. New Bedford is towered, and if we switch over to the VFR chart, we can see that it is indeed depicted in blue. So it is, and it does have a control tower. And it does have a blue dotted line around it indicating a class Delta. That's going to go to 2,600 feet above sea level and about 4 miles out from the airport. So it does have a control tower, and we will talk to probably Boston Center unless Providence Approach happens to come on and cover this. Otherwise, we'll be talking to Boston Center, who will be acting as the New Bedford Tower controller as well. But we will follow an obstacle departure procedure because we're going to be cleared as filed when we go, and if we need to make a right turn, we're going to need to follow that obstacle departure procedure in order to stay off of the terrain. Because the controller's not going to offer us vectors, they're just going to say cleared as filed, and then as filed means that we are responsible for following all applicable procedures in order to stay off of any terrain. And we do have some storms rolling through this area. It's clear right now. There's nice visual conditions right now. But we do have some weather in the area, so depending on the timing here, we might end up in some instrument conditions. So we will need to make sure that before we go anywhere, we are following all applicable instrument procedures and staying away from terrain that we may not be able to see at the time. We got readability checking in. Readability, how are you? All right. Let's show you that real quick since we're talking about it. We go to the Digital Terminal Procedures page. This is my preferred source. This is the actual FAA website, and this is where you can find all of the terminal procedures that the FAA publishes. Just go to the search page here. We'll type KEWB. I've been tempted to. My fingers have been going KEWB every time, but we got it right in this time. New Bedford Regional, and we got the. I think we got the airport diagram up already. No, we don't. So we'll right-click and bring that up just because we do need that here to figure out our taxi plan when we get to that. But we also want the obstacle departure procedure, and you'll notice there's not a DP listed here, which would be kind of up toward the top. But where you want to look is this takeoff minimums. We'll right-click, open that up in a new tab here, and this is going to be a selection of pages from what used to be called the Airport Facility Directory, AFD. It's now called the Chart Supplement publication. But takes you to this publication, and it normally puts you within a couple pages of the correct airport, and you just kind of have to scroll and zoom around and find it. So this is going to list the minimums, which is the climb gradients that you have to be able to achieve in order to be safe. And then you'll see the one that says departure procedure here. And then for runway 14, you have to climb on heading 144 to 700 before you initiate a right turn. So that means straight ahead on this heading, which probably is runway heading, or at least it's close to it. But definitely heading 144, whether or not it's runway heading or whether it's a slight turn from the runway heading. You follow that heading to 700 feet, and then you can initiate a right turn, and that keeps you off of any terrain that is south of the airport, I assume. If we read through the takeoff obstacle notes, we can see, a series of indications of obstacles that are, right or left of the center line by X number of feet, and they're X number of feet tall, blah, blah, blah. But as long as you follow what's in this departure procedure, you should be fine. And you'll notice that there's no departure procedure from any of the other runways. And what it says in the wings training material is that, where is it? For all runways other than 14, provided you meet the climb gradients and minimums that they apply, you can safely turn to a heading given to you in a takeoff clearance. For runway 14, you have to basically maintain that 144 to 700 before you initiate that turn. But there's no restriction on left turns. So basically, for these, if it's not in there, it's considered okay to do whatever else you want to do. All right, now further down, more stuff. We got lots of stuff to talk about. This is a very complicated flight, so we got quite a few things to discuss before we fire up the aircraft. Once we get up to Providence, this is Plymouth, PYM. We're going to fly the ILS to runway 6. And as we've done in the last few, we're not actually going to get vectored to this. We are going to fly the full instrument approach procedure. Let me get it in front of me. Open that in a new tab. We'll slide it over here. We're going to fly that full approach from the Providence VOR. However, you'll notice that our origin is somewhere in this area. And it says the procedure is not allowable or applicable for arrival at the PVD VOR DME from radials 93 clockwise to 132. So if you're coming from anywhere between that direction and that direction, you can't do this procedure because you have to do a reversal that they don't really have a reversal for. So, in other words, you can't come from this direction. You have to come from a direction where you can make that turn and join that outbound radio without having to spin around there in some willy-nilly fashion that they wouldn't be able to guarantee you obstacle clearance. So you basically can't come from the east if you're going to fly this approach as with the feeder leg from Providence. So you got to come from some other direction. That gives us a weird situation where, if we wanted to do this, PVD, we'd have to fly westbound to the VOR, but we're right there between those two radials that it says we can't do this from. As a matter of fact, if we go to the load chart, we'll see that the two radials it says we can't go from are the actual radials for these two airways, 93 to 132. So if we look again, anything that's going to have us coming into the VOR between that radial and that radial, we cannot do this turnout to this direction to join that ILS. So we're going to have to come at this radial or this VOR from some other direction in order to then do our direct entry into the ILS. So what do we do? Well, that means this what was a nice short 17.3 mile flight is now going to be a little bit longer. We're going to have to come into Providence from, I guess, the south, and really the best way to do that, I guess, is without going too far out of the way, which it's still going to be way far out of the way. But the best we can do, I guess, is Martha's Vineyard, so MVY, and then Victor was at 405 goes westbound. So basically, you can use any of these three numbers when you're choosing an airway. We got an airway that is at the same time all of these airways. Once it gets to this point, though, 405 continues that way, and 130 and 374 continue that way, and then presumably down the line somewhere, 374. I think 374 continues to the west. Oh, yeah, you can see it over there on the part that I didn't snip. 374 continues to the west, and 130 continues to the north and west. But anyway, we'll just pick the number that continues on in the direction we want to use it in. So we'll call that Martha's Vineyard Victor 405 Providence. Victor 405 PVD. All right, so yeah, so our trip, our 17.3-mile trip is now going to go down to Martha's Vineyard, west on the Victor 405, north and west on the Victor 405 to Providence, and then from the Providence VOR to join the ILS 6, so BUVKE, above key, I guess is what they're going to call that, I don't know. BUVKE, see if that'll go in there. Yeah, and then that'll be the ILS 6. So our total mileage now, 108.1. for purposes of fuel and time planning. 108.1. All right, we'll come back to the wings description. So the wings description is basically saying the same thing that I was just saying. You can't come in from the east. You got to kind of circle around to the south and go. It suggests a number of different ways you can do that, but the one that it kind of recommends is the one that I showed you, which is the one coming in from Martha's Vineyard. It's the shortest one. It's the least out of the way for what we need to do. The approach itself, we've done a lot of ILS approaches before. The different thing that we're going to be doing here is we're going to be executing the published mist and enter the published hold. So we talk about, when we brief an ILS approach, you know, I do a number of things. Frequency and course of the approach, frequency and course of the mist, which is in this case is going to be Boston VOR, and the I guess it's the one, that's the three, it's the radial 162 that we're going to be coming inbound to 342, and that's our missed approach fix there, Frito. And then we talk about the ceiling, we talk about the crosswind, we talk about turn-off direction. You know, we'll go through the entire briefing at, we don't have an airport diagram here because this is non-towered. But we'll assume if we're going to land the ILS 6 that probably the GA area is up here to the left. So we'll brief all that like we're gonna fly it to a successful approach, to a successful landing. But we'll know, between us, we'll know that for training purposes, this flight calls for us to go ahead and execute that published mist, and then you'd actually have to enter this hold. So how does that work? All right, we're going to turn. We're going to stay straight. Oh, I didn't snip it. Let's snip it where we can actually read the missed approach procedure as it's described at the top of the page, because this is where we want to be looking. We stay straight off of runway 6 until we get to 600, and then we climb to 2000. We can initiate a right turn, and we're going to turn to heading 100, 100, and then we're going to intercept this 162 outbound radial. And then when we get to this point, Frito, at 32.6 DME, this is where we end up having to kind of get the plane pointed back this way, because you see the hold, as you see the hold here, it's clockwise. So it goes that way, and then that way, and then that way, and then that way. So we're going to end up coming into it from this way, but we need to get pointed to where we go that way. So what do? There's since we're coming into the side that crosses onto the hold, what we'll do is what we'll call a teardrop that will offset by 30 degrees. So instead of 162, we'll fly a 132. We'll go from 1 minute from this point, and then we'll make the right, and then we'll do at least probably a lap of the hold if they ask us to, or we can kind of divert, you know, to wherever we need to divert from. Probably do a lap of the hold while they give us our clearance to our alternate. Oh my goodness. Well, we've got Mr. 757 Spy with the raid. Thank you so much. Dane Flats is part of this raid. Oh my god. Got some follows coming in. We got a whole bunch of stuff to, whole bunch of folks to say hi to. Alright, we'll get to the hellos in just a moment. You guys are going to beep in my ear for a little bit. Do want to kind of just reiterate what we were just talking about, but we're going to perform this missed approach. We're going to make a right turn heading 100. We're going to join this outbound 162, but then we're going to use a teardrop turn. So we're going to fly a 132, 1 minute, and then circle back onto that 342 into Frito. And then from that point, we're going to divert to our alternate. And our alternate is going to be, for purposes of this flight, is going to be Portland, Maine. And that is specified here in the lesson. So this is talking about the teardrop. This is what I was just describing to you. And then our alternate's going to be Portland. So we'll probably do a lap or two of that hold while we're getting our reclearance up to Portland. And I don't know if they'll radar vector us or if they'll make us join some airways or whatever they give us. We'll plot it on Sky Vector and we'll just make it work. We've got a whole bunch of friends to say hi to. Mr. 757 Spy, thank you so much for that incredible raid. We appreciate your support and your inspiration as always. Hope that you had a good flight today and a great stream. It was pretty well attended, so hopefully that is a sign. But we have some hellos from some new friends that have come over from 757 Spies raid. And that was Brace Yourself. We got Joe Compare. We got Mr. Anders, Briar Gaming. They're still coming in. Kozaki Flyer, Greg Bream. We got Euban Gaming and Ingaltinka. And that last one there was Salih Habsi. Thank you guys. Hope that you enjoy the show. We on this channel do a ton of general aviation flying, not necessarily VFR, but general aviation IFR is what we often do. And we are proceeding through the Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings over New England training flights. It's a series of 30 total flights, 6 VFR and 24 IFR. And this is IFR number 11, which is kind of a complex one. We're starting from New Bedford. We're going to go up to Plymouth. We're going to fly the missed approach there at Plymouth, and then we're going to continue on to Portland, Maine. BVARTCC.com if you want to fly along or play along and follow along on the home game. Got some couple more follows there to say hi to. We got FN2199 Finn, sir, Roger, and we got Maxwell22 with the follow as well. All right, I think we've covered the briefing as best as we can. I think we've covered all the new information. Boston Center not yet on, as they were kind of, I wouldn't say promised, but they have indicated an intention to be on by 7:45. If you look over here, Wednesday, July the 4th, Boston Center, 1945. That's in local time. So we got 15 more minutes before they said they would be on. So at least in the next 15 minutes, we can kind of start preparing the airplane, get it fired up, get our plan filed on VATSIM, and we should hopefully have them online by the time we are ready to roll this thing. Again, Boston approach is still on, and we got Syracuse way out to the west, but we're down here at New Bedford. I think we're actually within Providence approach's airspace, kind of maybe right there on the verge of Boston approaches. If we get to the point where we're ready to ask for a clearance, we can certainly check in with Boston approach and see if they handle this, but I think we fall more under Providence approaches than we do Boston's. It's unfortunate we don't have any pilot charts that depict TRACON boundaries. You know, we're outside of the Charlie, we're outside of the Bravo. You might think, oh, automatically it's got to be Boston Center if there's no tower controller on here, because obviously this is Class Echo airspace. It's not within the Charlie, it's not within the Bravo. That's not the case, though. TRACON boundaries extend out beyond the Bravo and Charlie boundaries, but there's no chart that depicts where the TRACON airspaces end. So this might be part of Providence's or it might be part of Boston's. I don't know the answer. And like I said, we'll check in with Boston approach if Center's still not on in a little bit. But we've still got some things to do to get the airplane ready before we fly it. I know. Who let him in here? Diagonalization was that last follow, and we appreciate all you guys stopping in. We have got a few of you that said hi in the chat too. Let me make sure I come back and catch all those. That was Finn. That was Crunchor rather. Dane said hello. Maxwell. Digitalization. We got Red Warhawk with the raid. And Billy Bob 217. Extremist. I love that. That's gorgeous. I love that Twitch handle. Extremist. Very clever. I see what you did there, as the kids say. Sky Bacon 14 with the check-in. BMF Smurfy is here as well. So I hope that I have now said hello to everybody. We got Terps Flask Simulation doing a day raid. All right, very good, guys. Let's go ahead and get the plane started, shall we? We got to sit here on the ramp looking all pretty. Let's see if we can make it do some stuff. Oh, the other thing I did want to do. We can back up here. And so we've got this route in 108.1 in the mileage. That's just the route that we've put in. I'm going to blank this out because we're also going to go, like I said, we're going to divert. We know we're going to divert to Portland, KPWM from KPYM. So we want to make sure, and that's another 105 miles up the coast here. So we want to make sure we plan it for enough fuel to get to the primary, but we know we're going to go mist and we know we're going to divert to the alternate, so we got to make sure that we have enough fuel to cover that as well. So that's 105.8, and that goes into my planning spreadsheet. By the way, Eric Flight checking in. By the way, if you want to know how to come up with some fuel estimates and flight time estimates, I've got a tutorial over on my YouTube channel where you can see how I put in. I have a nice little spreadsheet that I use. There's a simplified version. This is a 3-hopper spreadsheet, but I got a simplified version of this spreadsheet that I show you how to put in and put the math into to make those flight time and fuel calculations, and that's over on the YouTube channel under a playlist called VATSIM Tutorials. So you can feel free to check that out as well. All right, let's go back to, let's put this back in. Hold on, what was it? It was K, where are we? EWB. And we're going KPYM Plymouth. Again, a 17.3 mile flight that we're going to turn into a 108.1 mile flight because we're going to kind of take the scenic route here. All right, hopefully by now you have an idea of what we're up to, and we'll make it work. Let's go ahead and get the Mooney checklist over in front of me on my other page. All that pre-flight stuff I've already done. Let's go ahead and hop into the airplane then and check to see that the parking brake is set, and it is. The switches are all off. Battery switch can then come on. The nav and beacon lights can come on up top here, 2 and 3. We will get the fuel selector on. I believe it already is when it boots up. Yep. Props and mix can go forward. Magnetos, well, let's see, let's get the fuel pump on here. Boost pump, magnetos. Right, then left, then both. We will clear the prop area. Nobody in those yellow goofy vests walking around getting ready to get struck by my prop? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and start her up. Hey, there we go. Oil pressure's coming up right away into the green range, which is good. You can go ahead and shut the boost pump off. And I think we're golden. Got a good start there. Band Badger with the follow as well. Band Badger, how are you? I think I've seen you here before, or at least I've seen you in someone's stream before. I know I recognize that call sign from somewhere, but appreciate you stopping in. Appreciate you hitting that follow. And Sandbox God with us as well. God of the Sandbox is here. All hail. All right, what else we need to do? The oil pressure came up right away. Fuel boost pump was turned off. We can get the alternator and the radio master fired up. I like to set the fuel readout to endurance. Not that it really means too much to us on the ramp at idle, but when we get airborne, we can verify. Yeah, we got 91 hours. We got almost 92 hours of fuel if we were just going to idle it for 92 hours, but that's really not useful information. But when we get airborne, it'll be nice to kind of have that backup as far as knowing how much fuel we've got left in the tanks in terms of hours. We can mute the marker beacons, the outer, middle, and inner beacons, unless we get into really low IMC on our approach. And if that happens today, we'll fire those puppies back on, but for right now, we can shut those off. And then I'm going to put the message screen up over the GPS. On this channel, we simulate non-RNAV flying with navigation only through the radio beacons, VORs and radials and NDBs sometimes and stuff like that. We pretend that this Garmin unit is either not yet invented or not installed in this aircraft, or that I got pissed at it one day and threw a hammer through it and tossed it out the window. Whichever of those scenarios you prefer, we have an inoperable Garmin unit, so we are flying the slant alpha, meaning radio nav with DME only. And that is what we focus on this channel, that old school navigation that so many people don't even know how to do anymore. That's why we teach it on this channel. What about that DC-6? That's very slant alpha, says Dane Flats. Yeah, we flew it on Monday. We meant to do We meant to do one flight. We wound up doing 2 because the first one was a very, very unexpectedly short flight. But I've identified, after going back, either if guys that were here on Monday, you want to check probably the comments on the YouTube channel, or I think I actually posted them to Discord and Facebook and Twitter as well today. So I did go back and do some post-mortem on that flight. I know what I've done wrong. The second flight fortunately worked out much better than the first, much longer than the first. But I do know what I did wrong and what happened to the engines the first time around. So, yeah, so you can check that out. And hopefully we'll fly that again a week from tonight, by the way. And hopefully have a better result next time. We got... Angle Tinka says, I love that old stuff. And Diagonalization says, it's great follow-up to the VOR tutorial on the Microsoft Flight Sim channel that just raided. Nice. Okay, very cool. Love that. I didn't see that. I saw the raid come in from 757 Spy, but if there was a raid to 757 Spy right before that, I didn't catch that. But that's really awesome. So you get to see it in action, hopefully. Hopefully it will make a little bit of sense to you, and Basso23 with us as well. All right, where did we leave off in the checklist? I don't know. We got some. Let's fly a plane, shall we? Let's go ahead and get the ADF radios on already. We can go ahead and get the COM2, NAV2 stack on, and that's already on, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and turn the transponder into altitude mode, so just so I don't forget to do it later. And I think we're good to go there. Our next thing to do, and I'm kind of a little bit stalling to see if that Boston Center has come online yet. He has not. Oh, we got Portland approach on though, so maybe he'll be around when we arrive there. All right, well, let's go ahead and get the flight plan filed anyway. And so here we go. We're IFR. We're going to be K. Where are we? EWB, New Bedford. We're going to KPYM with the alternate of KPWM, Plymouth, and Portland is the alternate. Departure time, we're going to call it wheels up at midnight Zulu time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We are going to, I better put that in my planning spreadsheet as well, just so that we have a good time estimate for arrival. Sorry, I keep bumping the mic when I lean forward to type. Let's move that keyboard up here, maybe. All right. SJ Fly is here. All right, let's get back to the checklist of there, and we're in the middle of typing some stuff. Yeah, so departure time, we think we're going to be top of the hour. Time en route, if we were just going to our primary, would be 046. Fuel available 319. Cruise speed in the Mooney 180. We're going to go 7,000. That'll be plenty. And we are not a heavy. We are slant alpha. We're going to put wings. IFR 11 in there so that Boston controllers know that we are doing this as one of the exam flights. And then the route, like we said, Martha's Vineyard, Victor 405, Providence, and then Providence onto the ILS to runway 6 at Plymouth. So that all looks good. Good fixins has checked in. Is it hot in here, or is it just slant alpha? It's hot in here. Yes, SJ Fly, we're doing that venture on Sunday. Sunday, is it 2 or 3 p.m.? I forget. We're definitely going to be doing that. And doing that in this very Mooney aircraft. Did that last year in the Beach Baron for X-Plane 11. We had a custom scenery for Oshkosh, which decked it all out like the event was going on. The EA Air Venture event was going on. It's very cool. Don't know if we've got a custom scenery for Microsoft Flight Sim that puts the event there, but at least we know when we've got one that puts the dots there, the colored dots that you land on. So yeah, it should be a good one. And let me just get that show schedule in front of me. So Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time is when that's going to get underway. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, so 1900 Zulu on Sunday. If you want to see the virtual version of EAA Air Venture flown on this stream. All right, guys, let's see. What do we got left to do? We've set the flight plan. Oh, I always forget while I have the box over here. Let's go ahead and just do .METAR KP. No, that's where we're going. KEWB, New Bedford is where we are now. So wind is 180 at 8, so we want to take off southbound if we can. We'll check available runways in a moment. Altimeter is 3009. And 10 statute miles are clear for the moment. So 3009. We'll go ahead and get that set. That's this way. So there's 3010 and down a click. The field elevation here is charted as 79 feet. That's so we're showing a little bit above that, but definitely within the margin of error. So, all right. Next is to go ahead and set the comm radio. I'm going to check in with Boston Approach. I think we're outside of his airspace, but he's on 133.0. We'll check in with him, and we'll let you know. 133.0. Swap that in. I'm sorry, is it 130 or 133? 133. There we go. But we'll check in with him and we'll see what he says about our clearance. I'm going to just set that to 7 because that's what I filed. But if he gives us an initial that's lower than 7, obviously we'll reset that. But let's go ahead and check in with Boston Approach and see if he can give us a clearance. We might be outside of his airspace. And again, we talked about the reason why it's not necessarily 100% easy to tell. So let's ask. Boston Approach, Mooney 514 Delta Victor. He's looking. Where on my scope are you, Mr. Mooney? Oh, wait a minute. I set COM 2, duh. Let's try that on COM 1. Hey, look at that. We got people talking. Boston Approach, Mooney 514 Delta Victor. Was over top somebody there apparently. I'll give it a minute. Heard a little bit of a crackle after I let up, so somebody was probably transmitting around the same time I was. Boston Approach, Mooney 514 Delta Victor. Yeah, now he's looking on the scope going, where is this guy? Where is this? Don't see him. Either that, or I'm far enough out of his airspace that he couldn't hear me.
Oh, I
Alright, we'll try him again in just a moment. Boston Center was allegedly coming on right around now. I don't see him yet, but we can give him a few more minutes. Worst case scenario, we'll just talk through what the radio calls would be. That is coming in so faint, I'm going to guess that we're probably out of their radio range. I'm going to try talking to them by text and see if that helps. Where are we? KPYM. Yeah, I'm guessing he's going to come back and say we're outside of his airspace. All right, so we'll roll on with our checklist. But we may be waiting for center, or if center's not going to be on as planned, then again, we're just going to have to kind of talk through
250, kind of 1415.
The radio calls on our own. All right, back to the Mooney checklist. All right, so we're waiting for our clearance. We've set a transponder in the altitude mode already. We don't yet have our squawk code. We're going to go ahead and set the nav and ADF tuners as needed. That means we're going to also kind of just figure out our runway selection here. So with the wind 1.8, I guess probably 1.4 is what we want. And that's the one where we have to go to 700 feet before we turn on course, according to this. 144 to 700 before turning right. And notice it's not quite runway heading. It's 1.2 degrees off on runway
I love
heading.
to sing about the moon and the June and the springer.
But
I love to sing about a sky of blue.
anyway, and they haven't. Yeah, we gotta pitch. They're getting some gear maintenance done or something over there. That's one way to take up less space on the ground, I guess. All right, well. Yeah, Boston approach is probably outside of our radio range, and they're not hearing us anyway. So they're not hearing us they're not hearing us via voice, and they didn't see our transmission via text because they may be too busy. All right, we're going to assume we're outside of their airspace and just going to continue on. So center should be... Oh, center just popped up. Cool. All right, well, we'll give him a minute to get settled in. He's on 34.7, and then we'll go ahead and call in. And again, I'm doing it again. 34.7.
to the ILS Runway 15 approach, Carenado 145.
And then we'll give him a call. Yeah, that was an interesting way of parking it indeed. It makes it easier to get to the gear to service it that way, but then you have the problem of that wing, that pesky wing that you got to repair. Alright, so 34.7 is now our Boston frequency. Check in with them here in just a moment. Alright, let's try this clearance again. Boston Center, Mooney 514 Delta Victor.
Mooney 514 Delta Victor, Boston Center, good afternoon.
Boston Center, Mooney 514 Delta Victor, good afternoon. We are on the ground at New Bedford. We get the weather, IFR to Plymouth for the Wings IFR 11.
Number 4 Delta Victor, Wings IFR 11 approved, cleared to the Plymouth Airport as filed. Climb and maintain 2,000. Expect 7,000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure on this frequency, squawk 4640.
Alright, clear to Plymouth as file. We'll maintain 2,000, expecting 7,000 after 10, 134.7, and 4640, Mooney 514 Delta Victor.
34 Delta Victor, reback is correct. New Bedford, altimeter 3009er, expect runway 23.
Alright, 399er and expect 235 for Delta Victor. We'll call in a few. Alright, so he wants us departing on 23, which is fine. That means we can basically turn on course as soon as we're airborne, which I'll do through 400 feet. So it's 300 feet sooner. It's actually 200 feet sooner because we're already at 79 feet. Anyway, alright, so now we've got our clearance. Nav and ADF tuners will be set. So we got cleared as filed. So what does that mean for us? That means the very first thing we're going to do is go south and east here to Martha's Vineyard VOR, and we're going to basically go direct there. So we'll set it to a 151, but of course if we go off of runway 23 and we end up maybe somewhere out there, we'll probably be, you know, on a 14 something. Don't know exactly what radio we're going to end up on. When we proceed direct Martha's Vineyard, the number doesn't matter. We're just going to spin it until it centers and then just track in on whatever that happens to be. It doesn't really matter. If we go further out, it's going to be, you know, a lower number. You know, if we make, there's 139, if we make that turn on course sooner, then it's a higher number because it's more southerly. So it'll be a higher number, 149 there. So we don't know exactly what the number's going to be. We're not going to be inbound on a particular radial. We're just going to be direct from wherever we happen to end up after we take off. So the number that it ends up on doesn't matter. We'll just spin it till it centers and just go with that. But anyway, what we do need to do is tune that Martha's Vineyard VOR 114.5. Probably should be on the low en route chart since we'll have these airways depicted here. So 114.5 and approximately a 145, which we'll readjust whenever we get clear direct. So 14.5, we'll pop that down here, 14 down to 5. And then when we get to Martha's Vineyard, we turn westbound, but we'll worry about that when we get there. So what did I say, about a 145? Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. Again, we'll adjust it whenever we get clear direct. We'll just adjust it to wherever it needs to be. Departing on runway 23, and there's not a specific departure procedure, so we'll just set that to runway heading. And what is the runway heading? 23 something, or 22 something, I guess. Maybe 22, 23, almost 233. So we'll just set runway heading there. 1, 2, 3, and that's what we'll fly until we're told to join our on course, unless he gives us a different heading off of the runway, which he may.
0605.
All right. So nav and ADF tuners are set. Let's do one more thing. Let's stay one step ahead of the airplane. We know that once we go westbound from Martha's Vineyard, we're going to go to this point, Falmouth, but then we're going to be north and westbound to this Providence VOR 115.6. So we're going to go ahead and get 115.6 set up in the standby frequency, just so that when we get there, all we've got to do is swap it in with one touch. 15.6. Yeah, so that way we've got that preset and ready to go. All right, so I think we're set with all the navigation stuff. Heading bug, initial altitude, I think we were, yeah, I set 7 because that's our file cruise. Remember, though, he gave us an initial of 2. So let's make sure we get that down to 2. Iowa Scotsman here, G.S. Bresson with the follow. Thank you very much, both of you, for stopping in the stream tonight. Iowa Scotsman, welcome back. Initial altitude of 2. We can we want to check flap operation, so I'm going to hit the flaps, and we'll observe both the indicator in the cockpit, and we'll physically observe the flaps, make sure that they do operate, and we'll set that back into takeoff. Get some takeoff trim going. Trim's pretty much set where it needs to be, so we're good there. And let's brief our taxi route real quick before we go. Lights on. Said we were going to be airborne at 8. Is that what I said? Yep, I think it is what I said. All right, so if we are somewhere in this vicinity and we're going to 23, so our expected taxi route would be west on Bravo and then right on Alpha. We will need to make sure he gives us clearance to cross either 3-2 or 1-4, whichever way he says it. And but that's the expected route. So we kind of have to head north until we hit Bravo, and then we'll make a left to go north and west, and then a right down on Alpha before we get to the runway. So that is what we are expecting him to give us. All right, I think we're ready, guys. We want to roll and get this thing moving. Taxi lights on. Parking brakes off. And northbound is kind of over our right shoulder, is it not? Yeah, kind of over our right shoulder, so. Descent number 514 Delta Victor is ready to taxi New Bedford.
Ready for Delta Victor, runway 23, taxi via Bravo Alpha, cross runway 14.
All right, 23 via Bravo Alpha, cross runway 14, 54 Delta Victor. Okay, so we did hear the word cross. That means we don't need to stop and ask him when we get there. If you're ever not sure, stop and ask. But if you did hear the word cross, you are allowed to cross. Scooch the seat up just a little bit there. Okay, good. All right, so we're north and westbound now on Bravo. We also have to keep in mind that the taxiway signs may or may not be accurate at this airport. I don't know. This is default scenery here. I didn't install any special add-ons. But we are on Bravo, heading north and west. Are we? Are we? Oh, yeah, we are. Because the runway heading is the heading. I got confused because my course is behind us. But the heading bug over on the left-hand side is the runway that we're going to take off on. So we're going to taxi to the right to depart to our left. Yeah, exactly. We don't need roads. Kilo Zebra back with us. Yeah, so it says we're on Bravo getting ready to turn on Charlie. That cannot be accurate. We actually are on Bravo. As luck would have it, it got that one right. But this is not Charlie, this is Alpha. So again, you really just have to navigate by the chart and not by the signs. Okay, crossing 14 and 32. The visual check to make sure that nobody's coming, but presumably if he cleared you, it should be empty. Still want to check though. Hoju123 said you couldn't hear the controller. Are you guys, is that accurate? Are you guys not hearing that? Kilo Zebra is planning on do this one next week or later this week. Controller audio was quiet, you said? All right. Let me see if I can crank it just a little bit. Still tinkering with the It's quieter than last time? Okay. Yeah, I was trying to get some of the distortion out of it, but I think I made it too low there. So we'll see if it's a little bit better now. Alright, is this our hold short for 2-3? I think it is. Can't tell if that's the ILS hold short or the real hold short, but we'll hold short. I don't see any other hold short lines, so we'll go with that. Mooney 5 and 4 Delta Victor, short of 2-3 at New Bedford, ready.
So I need 4 Delta Victor, fly runway heading, runway 23, cleared for takeoff.
Alright, runway heading, clear for takeoff, runway 23, 5 and 4 Delta Victor. Alright, so that was, I think, too high. I'm going to pop it down just a little bit. Yeah, so I think this is indeed the correct hold short. Alright, guys. Let's get the strobes on, recognition, landing lights on, taxi lights off. Oops. Little off-roading. Pitot heat can come on as well. Is that, is that one there? Yeah, Dane, I got the mix set up to where I got the ATC in the left ear. Yep. Oh, a little off-road and never hurt anybody, guys. Come on. That was a good volume? Okay. We'll see how the next couple are. If I need to put it back up there, I will. Alright.
Just Blue 127.
Temps and pressure's all looking good. We'll go ahead and set
030,
takeoff.
back to the final.
Department 10030 back to the final, jet 127.
60 knots. $80 knots, rotate it. And a little didn't want to rotate. We'll trim it up a little bit. Gear coming up. Get the power down to 24 and 24. Pitch up for 85. If he asks us in a minute, we'll check in. If not, we'll Check in with our altitude. Remember that we are only going to 2,000. Center Mooney 5 and 4 Delta Victor's 1,700 going to, correction, just 800 going to 2,000.
Mooney 4 Delta Victor, climb and maintain 7,000, squawk 4640.
Now I've got that
Rot 1
squawk too.
high.
4640, we get the, and we'll go up to 7,000. 5 and 4 Delta Victor. 4640. No, I forgot that. Oh well. 7,000, staying on the runway heading. 24 and 24. Pitch for the 85. Yeah, sorry guys, I know I'm missing some chat messages.
4 Delta Victor, radar contact.
4 Delta Victor, roger. No, I'm missing some chat messages, guys. I am hand flying this departure, so I'm gonna probably fall behind a little bit. And I'm mad at myself for missing that squawk. 24 and 24 still set. Good. Temps and pressure's looking good. We lean it? No, not yet. Pitch for about 85 so we can keep it going. Got Throttle Junkie with the resub. Thank you so much for that. Merides gifted a sub to Dane. Thank you, Merides. Hope the baby's well. No, I missed a few other things, guys. I'm gonna try and at least catch up with the. I think I'm up to date with the follows and the subs and stuff. I know I'm missing a lot of the chat conversation. So we're still on runway heading. Heading bug is directly ahead of us. Pitched for about 85. Manifold pressure has slipped slightly to 23. We'll bump it back to 24. I use 24 on the manifold, 2,400 RPMs is my climb setting in this plane.
Mooney 4 Delta Victor, turn left, direct Martha's Vineyard.
Left direct Martha's Vineyard, 5 and 4 Delta Victor. Okay, so here's where we're going to just spin this until it centers.
JetBlue 127, descend at positive
fly that
pressure,
heading.
maintain 5,000.
Still trying to pitch for 85 while we make this left turn again. Still hand flying. Still hand flying, so bear with me. But again, once you get that direct, and you notice the needle was a little bit off-centered by the time we got it, because we flew out further on runway heading than what I kind of planned for, as we discussed in the pre-flight, but doesn't matter. Wherever you get you that direct, just spin it till it centers. Doesn't matter what number it centers on. Just follow whatever radial in that you end up on. Okay, there we are. So we're headed straight to Martha's Vineyard. I will set the, whoops, didn't mean to level out. Still going up to 7,000. I will reset the heading bug to directly to where we're going here. There we go. Fortunately, I got that on the joystick now, so that makes that a little easier to do while flying. Keep pitched up. Keep pitched up to about 85. SRAP21 with the follow. Thank you so much for being here. Again, we just departed from New Bedford. We're headed to Plymouth. We're taking the long way around to Plymouth by way of Martha's Vineyard and Providence. We're doing the Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings Over New England training flights. This is number 11, which is going to include a missed approach on the ILS 6 into Plymouth, then diverting up to Portland. Yes, Portland. KPYM to PWM. And still completely hand flying the plane, not too terribly well. Trying to just gently adjust the heading to stay on that radial. What's the DME? It's 19. You guys can't see the DME, but it is 18.8 now, 18.7 counting down. And the DME is over to the right behind my giant head there. So I'll try and keep you posted as far as the mileage countdown. So normally I pitch for 85 for the climb. In an extended climb, I kind of let that gradually drift up to 105. 85 is your VX, your best angle of climb speed. 105 is your VY, which is your best rate of climb speed. So I kind of just let the plane gradually accelerate itself as we make that climb. 20, the manifold pressure slipped to 22 because the air is getting less dense. I'm going to bump it back up to 24. Little bit of a right correction to stay on that radial. There we go. We'll let auto have the controls. Once we get stable at our cruise altitude and stable on our navigation plan, that'll help me focus on what the next navigation steps are. And you can hear one of the furry co-pilots is feverishly trying to get Mrs. Slant's attention. 500 feet to go now on that altitude.
Chipper 127, Bradley Airport.
I didn't actually change the altitude alarm to 7. I should do that just as a best practice down there. So I set that to 7.
JetBlue 127.
Chipper 127, cleared visual approach runway 24.
Kilo Zebra's curious about the routing we get from the holding fix to Portland. Yeah, me too. For those joining late, we'll kind of go over the plan again once we get stable here. I'll hand the plane over to Otto and focus on our next couple of navigation steps, but then I'll fill you guys in on what we're doing here. Alright, so we're arriving at 7. We'll go ahead and level the plane out. I'm going to keep climb power in, 24 and 24, until the plane kind of gets up close to its cruise speed. Going to have to keep adding down trim. As it picks up speed, it's going to want to keep climbing. So as the speed comes up, you're going to have to gently keep adding some down trim to keep it stable on that altitude. We can gradually start to bring power down to 22 and 22. So 22 on the manifold, 2200 on the RPMs. All right, there we go. We're going to lean it out to 50 degrees rich of peak, so we'll keep leaning it until the EGT's fourth one over there keeps climbing. Speaking of climbing, I'm going to trim up back on that 7,000. So we keep leaning it out to the point wherever it stops getting higher. So 1555 looks like it. All right, now I'm going to push the mix forward until it goes to about 1505 or close to it anyway. There we go. That's close enough. Oh my God, never got the flaps in.
Ready 4 Delta Victor, Martha's Vineyard, altimeter 3011.
3011, 514 Delta Victor. Wondering why the speed wasn't picking up. So we've oversped the flaps and killed our plane. If Carenado modeled flap damage. Thank God it doesn't. Alright, well, oops. Yeah, so the flaps should have come in at the moment that I rotated and started pitching for that 85 and reducing the power. That's when I should have pulled those flaps in. Whoops. None of you caught that? Maybe a few of you caught that. I wasn't keeping up with the chat messages. Yeah, it seems like the plane should warn you. I don't know that it is that sophisticated. I don't know if the real one does or not. But I don't know that the avionics in this plane are that sophisticated. But we're coming up to much more of a reasonable cruise speed for this plane now. And so now I'll go ahead and hand the controls over to Otto. Let him track into that radial and let him hold the altitude for us. And then we'll talk about next navigation steps. So autopilot, altitude, and nav modes. Make sure that all those lit up as expected, and they have. And so he's going to shuffle us a little bit to the left to get us back onto that radial, which is fine. I mean, the other thing, we can just recenter it. we're not direct on any specific radial. We're direct from wherever we happen to be. So the fact that we drifted off slightly and then readjusted it is fine. Can't do that if you're tracking an airway, but you can do that if you're direct. All right, we're 5.3 miles from Martha's Vineyard. What's the next navigation step? Let's look. Done with that. We're done with that. We'll need that still. Probably done with that. Sky vector page. So once we get to Martha's Vineyard, we're westbound on a 2. Is that to say a 282? Yeah, 282. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. We're westbound on 282 to Victor 405. So what we'll do as we get ready to make that turn in 3.5 miles, probably 2.5 miles really, we'll go ahead and set the heading bug over there now.
Boston Center, good evening, commuter 220 to crossing
282 is... There's west.
Commuter 222, Boston Center, on the main team, level 19.
There, so 1 and 2 clicks, all right. And so the VOR is 2 miles away, but we're 1 mile above it, so we're really only 1 mile away from the VOR. So I'm going to go ahead and start the turn now.
514 Boston Center, on the main team, level 270.
Pop it into heading mode. Let the plane start that turn. We're going to set the arrow to 282. So there's 270. Actually, we should match it up to the heading bug. That should be fine there. Let's just double check. There's 280. 1 and 2. Okay, there's the arrow on 282, I guess. Kind of hard to tell exactly. Not uncommon in a slant alpha navigation to be 1 degree off or so. Hash YG asks, is it compulsory to contact ATC on multiplayer? Well, not on regular Microsoft Flight Sim multiplayer, but on the VATSIM network, it is. We're on the VATSIM network. We're not on regular multiplayer. On VATSIM, you have a map here called VATSPY that tells you what air traffic control is available in the area. And if there's air traffic control in your area and you're flying a circumstance that requires you to contact air traffic control in the real world, then you would also do that on VATSIM. But just regular multiplayer server, no. There's no such thing as air traffic control on just a regular multiplayer server. GS Bresson's asking about our yoke model. It's the CH Products LE yoke. I'll show you the office setup real quick. Obviously, that's not a live picture. That's a static picture. I am not invisible. I'm also not flying the DC-3 today. So that radial's now starting to come back in. We overshot the turn, so we put in a little bit of a correction to the right to get back on it, and now we're coming back into it. So we'll twist the heading bug to kind of line up with it, and then we can kind of just pop it back into nav mode, and auto will take it from there. Yeah. No, I'm not invisible, especially not in this bright yellow shirt. Let's pop that into nav mode. Okay, auto is now going to just track us inbound. And let's figure out what our next navigation step is, and then we'll review the plan. So I've got to take that out, and then we weren't on Victor 146, we were on Victor, what was that, 405, I think. Yeah, there we go. So we can see that we're taking this westbound radial of 282. So 282 westbound for 25 miles to this point, Falma. And at that point, we're going to start flying north and west. Now we're going to have to kind of do a cross check here. We're going to tune Providence on nav 2 as well. And I'll show you why. Nav 2 and what's the radial? 165, is that what that says? Yeah, okay. So 115.6 into the nav 2. And 165 out from Providence as we're going north and west into Providence would be a 16263, 345. So there's 340 and there's 345. And you can double check. You see the bottom arrow is pointing at indeed, it might be off screen for you. Bottom arrow is indeed pointing at 165. So if you're bad at doing that 180 math, you can always just align it by the bottom arrow instead. But you'll notice this is telling us that we need to correct to the left to get onto that new course that we're trying to fly. Remember, these radios don't know anything about what we're trying to fly, what our overall plan is. All they know is, and when I say no, it's not electronic, it's just an analog radio signal that you tune, and it kind of provides guidance to this course. So all it can tell you is that we're tuned to this nav station, and we've got the course needle set to that radial. So as we're flying out here, you know, as it thinks we're trying to fly a course that way, it is telling us we need to correct to the left to get onto that course. And we are correcting left, in fact, but we just happen to be correcting left along this airway. Okay, so that's why this gauge up the top is telling us to correct left. We are. We're about 40 degrees left of that course. It's just that we're navigating along a specific course in order to get to that other course. Hopefully that helps you out understand what we're doing here. All right, now back up a little bit and let me see if I can catch up with some of the other questions. If there was something that you had questions about, then feel free to ask again if I missed it, because chances are I will not be able to get back to it. I hope that I at least said hi to everybody who followed, everybody who subbed and all that stuff. Hopefully the audio is better now. We got Emmanuel Karen that said hi. Oh, Hoju123 said, I'm using ear pods. I had the left one out, and I was only using the right one. That's why I didn't hear it. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Yes, it is. It is shifted over into
Slanta Copilot.
Just my left ear, and so that's what was going on there. No worries.
We have the weather for Bangor question. ILS Yankee approach the 4 runway 15.
Video 222, expect that. Descend at pilot's discretion, maintain 1000. Bangor altimeter 3011.
Expecting ILS Yankee 15.
Gun Guy Alex asks, does the Morse code say thanks? Yes, it does. Very good catch. Gun Guy, very good catch.
Mooney 4 Delta Victor, verify you have weather and notice for Provincetown. Say approach request.
We do have the weather at Providence. We're looking for the ILS number 6.
Number 4 Delta Victor, you said ILS Runway 7 approach you're looking for off of VOR?
I'm sorry, the ILS Runway 6 for Plymouth?
Oh yeah, that would help if I had the right airport in front of me. Okay, that makes more sense. Number 4 Delta Victor, expect the ILS Runway 6 approach.
Okay.
Delta 135 Bravo Boston Center, good day. Cross Madison out of maintain 1000. The Bradley altimeter 3007.
Alright, let's double check. I think we're coming up on the turn here. So we're going 25 miles outbound, yep. And so the radial that we're going to be joining should be starting to come in. You see we're at 19, 20, 20.0, 20.1, so we're counting upwards westbound. And yep, okay, that radial is indeed starting to come in. So we're going to turn to join it on what I said was a 345. So there's a 345 on the heading bug. We'll knock it into heading mode and hopefully catch right along the center there. As we make the turn, we can kind of use this as a guideline to whether we're joining the radial square on or whether we need to correct to get on it. But also, in the process of doing that, we'll be flipping this HSI around so that it is also showing that same information. And this is the one that's coupled to the autopilot. So that's the one that we'll use to track it in once we get established on that turn. We should also be ready to brief that approach now, since we did tell them we wanted it. It's 109.35 and 056. And we'll also have the missed approach course, which is called the Boston VOR 112.7 outbound on a 162. If we do have to go missed, we're climbing to 600 and then a right turn to 2000 on heading 100 to join that 162 outbound. We'll get some wind and weather conditions at Plymouth. Let's go ahead and make the turn here. Yeah, let's go ahead and make the turn. Alright, so now we got 115.6. We're going to go ahead and swap that in. And again, it's 345. So we'll match that up there. Uh-oh, did I not? Yeah, something's not right. Because VOR2 is telling us we're dead on it. VOR1 is telling us that we're not at all dead on it. What's the difference? 115.6 and 115.6 and 345 and oh, that's because I'm not. I can't math. 345's up there. Yeah, that wasn't even close. Alright, so that wasn't too bad in the end. I don't know how we managed that, but there we go. The kid's now asleep, and so am I, apparently, when I'm setting these headings. Alright, so as we intercept that now, we'll go ahead and let auto take care of that for us. So on nav mode, and we're tracking inbound 21 miles to that VOR, and the next thing to do is to start setting up for the mist, for the approach. 109.35 and 056. 109.35 we can preset. We can't spin it yet because we can't swap it in yet because we're still navigating to Providence. The mist is 112.7 and 162. We'll set that on nav 2. 112.7 and 162. Spin that around.
128 approved. I'm on your back. Delta 135 Bravo, depart Madison, heading 030, vector to final.
162 outbound.
5,000.
Okay. We do need to get a METAR. Okay, where are we?
Delta
KPYM.
135 Bravo, heading 030. Another 135 Bravo, expect vectors visual approach runway 24, the Bradley altimeter 3007.
Variable at 4, so landing on 6 is fine. 10 statute miles and clear.
34 Delta
3009, which is
Victor,
what we
cross
already got
Providence
set.
at or above 5,000. Code ILS runway 6 approach.
All right, Providence at or above 5,000, clear for the ILS 6 approach. 514 Delta Victor. All right, so 5,000. We got 2,000 to lose. I like to use 3.5 per 1,000. So we'll start down when we're 7 miles out from the VOR.
Batch 514, contact Montreal Center 128.77, good night.
2877, Western 514, thank you for agency.
I know Meredith asked me to put hers in and not Eric's, but I'm not a cheater like she is. You think I didn't see that, huh? Think you snuck that message past me, did you? Well, I may not know what radio I'm supposed to be on, but I did see that message. Alright, now. Let's go through our approach briefing again. Approach frequency and course we talked about. Missed approach frequency and course we talked about. Minimums, we probably need to know that. Let's go. Field elevation is 148. Minimums on a straight in to runway 6 is 340. We'll say 350 round figures. 345 really. And remember, for training purposes on this flight, we do need to go missed. Alright. So minimum ceiling and crosswind we talked about. Missed approach procedure we did talk about. And the turn-off and taxi route if we make it down successfully, which in this case we know we're not going to. But if we were to make it down successfully, it would be to the left-hand turn-off off of runway 6. Alright, after Providence, so 099 for almost 24 miles. Get the heading bug set. So there's 90. There, due east. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That, yeah, alright, close enough. And we get 7 miles from the VOR. We'll go ahead and start down, and I'm going to hand fly from there. Rex says hi. Rex actually says people in their charts, but we know that means hi. Alright, guys. 7.8. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and take control of the airplane. My airplane, my airplane, my airplane. You can't have it. And so I'm just going to manually continue to track that radial inbound. We'll go ahead and reduce. I want to keep the RPMs up to 22, but we'll go ahead and reduce the power here. Papa Charlie with the resub. Thank you, Papa Charlie. Appreciate you being here.
Nice yellow jersey during the Tour de France.
Yes. I may already be a winner.
Back in cockpit, JetBlue 128.
JetBlue 128, cross Lolly at a maintain for level 200.
Got the power down, but the RPMs are 22.
JetBlue 128.
We're still tracking inbound on that radial. By about 3.5, we want to be at 6,000, and by the VOR, we want to be at 5,000. We're at 4.4 miles now. I think the rate of descent's pretty good. Get the 3.5, we'll be at 1,000 to go on that. Yeah, we can actually start decelerating the plane also, so we'll pull the power even more. Maybe trim up just a touch, reduce the rate of descent. Okay, there's 3.5 miles. We want to be at 1,000 to go. We're not too bad. We're 100 feet high. I'm going to correct a little bit to the left. Zach on deck says the clouds look outstanding. I do love this sim visually, and I don't hate it like some people hate it. Especially because I'm flying most of this general aviation stuff with the old school gauges, which all work as they're supposed to, more or less. So I don't have some of the issues with the sim that some folks do. 2 miles. And then we're going to turn to a 099er outbound. Again, that's according to that Providence ILS Runway 6. Alright, the VOR is starting to slip off to the side there. I think it's time to just go ahead and start that turn. And we can even lose a few more 100 feet here as we're crossing the VOR at or above 5,000 feet. Let's go ahead and spin the arrow up to 099er. Whoops. Didn't mean to add that much up pitch. 099er. Should be about there. Okay, overshot it just a little bit, so we'll keep the turn coming around to the right to get back on that.
Delta 135 Bravo, I'll get you a few thousand, about 1,000 feet low now. Climb
Okay,
and
now,
maintain
if we're
5,000.
outbound on that 099, we can go down to 3. We were cleared for the approach, so now we can do anything that the approach says we are allowed to do. So we're going to continue it down to 3. Continue to pull the power down, and I'm putting in about a 30-degree right correction to reestablish myself on that 099er there. Okay, radial's coming back in. Again, close into the VOR, you don't need much of a correction if you overshoot. Power can keep coming down. We're going to slowly start enriching mix. Was that one of y'all with my sound effects in the chat, or was that thunder from the sim? Okay, so we're on the radial. Let's get over back onto heading. Let's just make sure it's...
American 47 to the maintain 11,000.
Yeah, there's 099er. Okay.
Can we get lower? It takes us a while to complete airspeed.
Yeah, no problem. Start down now to 11,000 and I'll work on lower for you.
So down to 3.
11,000, American 47.
And then we'll get ready to swap into that 10935 frequency and 056 course.
American 47 to the maintain 5,000.
It's going to maintain 5,000, American 47, thanks.
You're welcome. American 47, contact Syracuse approach 134.27, 3427, good night.
One thing I need to do is I've burnt about a third of my fuel here in the left-hand tank. I'm going to switch over to the right-hand
turn 10
tank.
degrees left, vector to final, send to maintain 5,000.
And 3,000's our target, and we're going 23.9 miles out. We're at 6.7 now, so we got a ways to go. We don't have to be in any hurry to get down to 3,000.
Southwest 2296 miles from center. Hello, climb and maintain level 340.
Climb and maintain flight level 340, Southwest 2296.
All right. And Plymouth, by the way, is non-towered. So let's go ahead and be ready to switch over to 122.8 on the COM 1. As we level off at 3 here. All right, so we're ready on that. Oops. Slipped a little off that outbound radial. Add a little bit of power back in as we level off, just so we don't slip below that 3,000. We don't want to lose too much more speed at this point. I'm going to correct a little bit to the left to get back on that 099.
Delta 135 Bravo, Bradley Airport, 10 o'clock, 2 miles, report the field in sight.
Again, Providence, we're 115.6, a 099 course, and I just drew over it, but 23.9 is what's is the mileage.
November 4 Delta Victor, no radar traffic observed between you and the Plymouth Airport. Port IFR cancellation or missed approach on this frequency. Change to advisory frequency approved.
All right, we'll report the missed or the IFR cancellation on this frequency. Frequency change to advisory is approved. 5-4 Delta Victor. Talk to you soon. Alright, so we'll swap over. Give a little position report. We'll say we're 12 miles east of Providence on the ILS 6. Plymouth traffic, Mooney 514 Delta Victor is 12 miles east of Providence, 3,200 on the ILS 6 inbound for full stop, Plymouth. Now, you know and I know that we're going to do the missed approach, but for right now, we think we're going to land this thing. and we'll behave accordingly. You don't, by the way, for this rating, you do not have to hand fly as much as I'm hand flying. You could be in nav mode and altitude hold mode right now. I'm a glutton for punishment. I like having the practice of keeping the plane stable on course and on altitude. So I make it a little extra challenging, but those of you doing this rating with the Boston Virtual ARTCC, do not feel like you have to hand fly this as much as I do. That's just my my own proclivities there. Sky Bacon with the follow. Thank you, Sky Bacon. Hope that we will see you back here. All right, so we're 15.4, 15.5. Again, the DME is counting up over here to the right. It's behind my head, I think, when I have the view facing forward, but I'll give you updates. We're going to 23.9 on that. We're 15.8 now. I just like doing things the hard way, Meredith says. Yeah, exactly. My wife will tell you the same thing. And we're just above the white arc. I think we'll just keep this speed here until we get established on the final approach course, and then we'll start configuring. Remember, for purposes of this flight, we are going to go missed, and we're going to go established into the hold here at Frito on this. If you pull up the ILS Runway 6 at Plymouth, if you want to play along at home. As I'm hand flying it, I'm not going to be able to kind of illustrate too much on the chart. But it's straight to 600, and then we're going to turn to 100, fly the 2000, and join that outbound radio on the 162, which we've got tuned in up here on the nav too, because we're good pilots, and we know that there's always the possibility that we'll have to fly that mist, so we have it ready to go up there. Parallel, now I'm going to do the teardrop, Kilo Zebra. We're gonna, so we'll join the radio 162, and then once I cross over that fix, we'll do a 132 for 1 minute and turn back around and get on it. Either one works. Since you're tracking right down the radial coming into it, or at least you should be, either one works. So 19.9, 20.0. We got 3.9 more miles to go. And as a matter of fact, I think we're probably close enough. We can just maintain the heading here. And I'm just going to set in 10935. And the course is 056. So we'll just maintain this heading until we get to that. There's 60. 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks to get it down to 056. I'm 13.6 miles out now, counting down on the ILS into Plymouth. Once we get established on that, we can descend to 1700 by 5.7 in order to join the final approach course. In order to join the glide slope, really. That localizer ought to be banging in any second now. That Blukey intersection's at 12.4, and we just crossed over 12.4, so we should really be right on top of it. There it goes. So gentle turn to intercept. We can start to descend now to 17 and pull the power out just a touch. Keep 2200 RPMs in. Can gradually enrich the mix. And we could probably, we probably want to go flaps 1 as well. Get ourselves down below that white arc, throw the first notch of flaps out. A little bit of a gentle left correction here to get on that, back on that localizer. And again, 1700 to 5.7 DME. We're still 5 miles from that, with 2,000 to go. Okay, yeah, we can descend pretty briskly then. Glide slope indicator basically says we're on the glide slope, so you can't really trust that until you're at the final approach fix, because in the real world there are some weirdness with you know, false lobes and, you know, interference and stuff. Radio wave does its radio wave magic, and you get some weird weird indications on that glide slope indicator that you don't usually see in the sim. So you want to make sure you're intercepting that at the distance and altitude that's on the chart, just to make sure you're not following one of those little false signals, one of those little what do they call it, harmonic waves? Yeah, we're radio wave doing radio wave things, exactly. All right, I might not have that set to 056 because I feel like, yeah, so that's 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. So I think what happened was when I set it, sometimes the bug and the arrow don't line up well when they're 90 degrees off. And so you really have to kind of get the thing facing the direction you want to go before it lines up the way it should. 7.5 miles. And we want to be 1700 at 5.7. Okay. Let's go ahead and make another call here. We're 7 miles out. Plymouth traffic, Mooney 514 Delta Victor, 7 miles out on ILS Runway 6, Plymouth. I'm going to set the missed approach altitude to 2,000 just as a reminder. That's where we're going. Altitude alert down there set to 2. 6.4. Props and mix are now full forward. So go to 1700 by 5.7. Looks like we're intercepting that pretty well. 5.9, 5.8, 5.7. We're 100 feet high, but that's not too bad. We can catch that up there. So 1700, yeah, we're good. We're just a slight bit above glide slope. We'll fix that. So now that we're final approach fixed, descending on glide slope, we'll go with gear and flaps 2. Bring her down to about 90. Let's correct a little bit to the left. Again, the minimums are what we said, 350 for our purposes. Knowing that for the purposes of this training flight, we are going missed. But we'll fly it by spec just up to that point, no problem. Let's go missed only because of the training. Let's not go missed because we can't fly. I do need to increase the rate of descent just a little bit here. Get back on that glide slope. Just really like it. My eyes are riveted on that attitude indicator, because that's the primary thing I need to keep focused on. But then you got to glance around, make sure your airspeed's good, make sure your direction's good, watch your altitude. Again, minimum's 350. Again, straight ahead to 600, right to 100, and then 2,000 to the radial dialed in on the nav 2 if we go missed. Of course, again, we know for purposes of this training flight we are going missed. We might have to go missed anyway, guys. We're down at 700. We can't see the runway. This might be really well-timed training exercise. Plymouth traffic. Mooney 514 Delta Victor's now at a 2.5 mile final. ILS Runway 6 Plymouth. There's 500. Oh boy. Oh, yeah, we got runway coming into sight just now anyway. Just if we get to 400, but we're going to go ahead and go missed. Get flaps to flaps 1. Power up. We'll leave the gear out until we've established positive climb. Okay, positive climb established. Gear coming up. Let's go 24 and 24. Alright, and we're going to stay straight until 600. Okay, we've done that. And then now we can turn right to 100, which will be over there. Go back to Boston Center's frequency.
Taxi to the ramp via Alpha. Have a good day.
Get that second notch of flaps in. Alright, so now we're 100, and now we're navigating off of the VOR2, which is the one in the upper right, guys.
Boston Center, good evening. Speedbird 113.
So established on that.
Speedbird 113, Boston Center, good day. Radar contact.
Established on that heading.
East of Canny, maintain level 380.
I'm going to start to bring the power and props down just because we're getting close to that 2,000 foot altitude. Boston Center, Mooney 514 Delta Victor's back with you, flying the published mist off of the ILS 6 at Plymouth. We're leveling at 2,000 now.
Bird 113 after Canny, join the
Delta
Park
2974, check-in flight level 380.
Look. Speedbird 113 after after Plym, join the Parch 3 arrival. After Plym.
It's maintaining 100 on the heading.
Arrival. Speedbird 103. Thank you. November 4 Delta Victor. Radar contact at 2,200. Climb and maintain 4,000.
4,000, 514 Delta Victor.
Ready for Delta Victor. Pies ready for further clearance and your intentions.
Alright, 514 Delta Victor. Give us a moment to get established in the hold. I'll let you know.
Number 50 Kilo cross Lawrence out of maintain 6,000. The Portsmouth altimeter 3009er.
2974, check-in flight level.
And come on, 17 number 50 Kilo cross Lawrence out of maintain 6,000.
Still on the 100 heading, but you'll notice up in the upper right that we're almost on that 162 it should be.
Who else called Boston Center?
Let me just double check that it's it looks like it's set to 160. Let's go ahead and bump it back up to 162.
Delta 2974.
So that means we need to be flying a 162.
Delta 2970 from Boston Center, go ahead.
I'll get the heading bug set over there in just a moment.
Delta 2974, check-in flight level 380.
Delta 2975, I don't have any information on you. Come back to your last assigned frequency.
Roger.
Alright, so there we are on a 162. I'm going to flip the
Charlie Romeo 47.
HSI on the nav 1 around.
9000, cap
Yeah, we
to
need to come a
Burlington.
little bit to the right to get on that.
Charlie Romeo 47, Boston Center, Montpelier, altimeter 3013. Good evening.
Thanks.
Gear 1015, turn left heading 150, vector to final. Set and maintain
And
4,000.
I don't have a DME on that, by the way. So we're 4,000.
American 142, Boston Center, climb and maintain
112.7.
level 230.
Leveling at 4.
That's flight level 230 for American 142.
Let's level at 22 and 22.
Boston Center, good evening, Delta 4033, 10,900, climbing 14,
All right, let's
14,000.
get 112.7 set in the or the nav 1 rather. 12.7.
Delta 4033 Boston
And
Center, good day, climb and
162.
maintain for level 230.
Let's make sure we're maintaining
230.
4,000.
Delta 29.
Spin that around to 162. Why is that not lining up? 112.7, 112.7. Because that's 172. 162. Okay.
American 142, clear direct KEWB, Kilo, Echo, Alpha, Victor, Romeo, direct KEWB.
And American 142 is cleared direct KEWB.
Alright, so we're on the radial. We're back down to our assigned altitude of 4,000. We can lean out a little bit here.
Boston Center, American
1230 thereabouts.
8,000, climbing 10,000.
American 2318 Boston Center, good evening, climb and maintain, flight level 230.
32.6 was
Up to
the
flight level 230, American 2318.
32.6 was the missed approach fix. We're well past that now, so we're just going to go ahead and start a quick teardrop turn. Actually, at this point, we were going to do a teardrop, but at this point, we'll just go ahead and do the parallel, which will be the turn back this way. Flip that back around to the 342.
Number 50, Kilo, descend and maintain 6,000, the Portsmouth altimeter 3010.
That is 6,000, 3010 for 50 kilo.
All right, and at this point, I think I will lean on auto, as we need to
That is 6,000, 50 kilo.
figure out what our
Delta 4033,
new navigation plan is going to be.
climb and maintain for level 340.
So I'll show you on the chart what I intended to do and then what I wound up doing here in just a moment.
And Delta 5651, can we step away for about 2 minutes?
Delta 5651, yep, let me on your back.
Wilco 5651.
I guess that's 3. It's hard to tell. 1, 2. We're going to call that 342. And 4,000.
Miami.
Al South MIA. All right, let's get leveled out here.
American 142, climb and maintain for level 320.
Yeah, so that was kind of a tricky maneuver, and it was long enough for me to figure out where I was in relation to Boston VOR that I kind of went a little further than I thought, so we wound up just switching up the turn maneuver that we were going to use. And I'll show you what plan A was and what plan B wound up being.
2000 for Canada 1015.
And the fix is at 32.6, and we're at 34.6 now, so
based on the current weather, 1/4
let's go ahead and get
and fog.
autopilot,
only authorize that if you get the field
altitude,
split.
and nav mode on.
Roger, we can just take the
Let's
ILS.
just make sure that this is a 342.
American 142, climb and maintain for level
Yeah,
320.
okay, that's good.
Boston Center,
Yeah, 33.7, so 32.6 is when we will be at that hold fix.
JetBlue 1318, Boston Center, climb and maintain for level 210.
32.6. So when we get back to there, that's when we'll start a lap of the pattern, of the hold pattern.
Thank you.
JetBlue 1318, that'll be direct to Pro V with a P. Papa, Romeo, Oscar, Victor, India.
2200 on the RPMs.
JetBlue 1318.
Who else called?
That's 32.6. All right, let's go ahead and put it back into heading mode. And spin it around 180 degrees to the right. And this is where we're going to tell them we're going to divert to Portland.
Care 1015, 6 miles from B-Pay, turn right, heading 210. Maintain at or above 2,000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway
over to the
cleared
stopwatch.
runway 24 approach.
For ILS 24 approach and right to.
So as soon as we get established on that outbound heading, go ahead and start the counter for 1 minute. So there's starting for 1 minute.
American 2318, climb and maintain.
Where are we?
Level
We're at
320.
Rito.
Flight level 320, American 2318.
Rito,
American 2318, do you have a way of getting in touch with American 142 in front of you there?
WM. So we'll see what he says as far as our routes.
And Delta 5651 back, thank you.
Delta 5651, roger.
Boston Center, Mooney 5 and 4 Delta Victor.
Mooney 4 Delta Victor.
I guess we're established in the hold at Frito at 4,000 and look to divert to Portland if we can.
Mooney 4 Delta Victor on request. Okay, 1015, runway 24, the wind 220.
On request. Well, guess what that means? When that gets up to 1 minute, we make a 180 degree right turn and fly back into the hold.
Hey, Boston Center, American 142, level 2, flight level 230. Sorry about that.
Actually, want to kind of rejoin that path, so instead of turning the heading bug all the way around, I'm going to turn it there.
Leaving flight level 230 for flight level 320.
Make sure we intercept that inbound course of 162.
Number 50, Kilo, contact Boston approach 133.0
and then I'll show you
today.
what we did.
And Boston Center, Aircraft 1475, passing 11,000.
Let's go ahead and get auto to
Canada
get us back.
1475, Boston Center, climb and maintain flight level 380.
Again, only going as far as 32.7, so
50 Kilo, contact Boston approach
have to keep that in mind.
133.0.
Approach for 50 Kilo, have a good one.
So we went straight, and then we went to 100, and then we joined the radial, and by the time I realized where I was about 37 miles, so I was past. So instead of doing what we were going to do, which was a teardrop turn and then back that way, I did a parallel turn, which
I had a couple on at once there, and if I guess I missed both of them. Maybe it was an Air Canada.
As long as you stay on the side where
Canada
that little racetrack pattern is, you're okay.
Maintains level 230.
Say again for Aircraft 1475. You want us up to 3?
Yeah, Kilo Zebra needs to learn how to do the wind compensation
Yeah,
in the
Air Canada 1475. Climb and maintain.
It's not that bad. You basically, once you get established
Roger 233.
on the inbound track, you just figure out what your correction angle is. You look at the difference between the heading and the track, and then you triple that angle on the other side. And then, of course, there's also the question of how long it takes you to get back to the hold fix, and then you should adjust accordingly the outbound
Thank you very much. And then
but
who
I
else
think a lot of that is a little bit more in depth than what VATSIM needs. Really, as long as you're flying a racetrack pattern on the correct side, on the correct radial, you're probably fine. So right now,
Delta 505
we're just in this hold at Frito, waiting to see what he's going to do as far as a route to get us up to Plymouth. Wonder if he'll shoot us out to
number 4 Delta
Mooney.
Victor, did you have a routing request, or did you want me to give you something on the way to Portland?
No particular request, but if you want to give us Marconi and Victor 167, that will work for us.
94 Delta Victor, cleared to the Portland Airport via present position. Direct Marconi, Victor 167, Kennebunk, direct, climb and maintain 6,000. Let me know if you want any higher.
All right, so Marconi, Victor 167, Kennebunk, then direct at 6,005 and 4 Delta Victor.
Fort Alpha Victor, evac is correct.
All
Boston
right.
Center, Giant 539, 17,000.
Chad 539 Boston Center, good evening. Climb and maintain foot level
So we need to
220.
be on the right turn.
Giant 539 heavy.
Care 1015, turn left on Delta,
heading.
exit to the ramp.
Get back going on the outbound side of the hold.
Center, hello, American
And then let's figure out the
2130, climbing
routes.
12 for 14.
American 2130 Boston Center, hello, higher for you in a minute.
Yeah, right now, let's go ahead and shoot ourselves out to Marconi, 114.7 direct, and we'll figure the rest out from there.
Giant 539, climb and maintain foot level 290.
14.7.
Air Canada 14.
Spin that until it's direct. We know it's somewhat eastbound.
Foot level 280.
So there we go. It's
Switch Air Canada 1475. Any
more or
sense
less
going up
there.
to 340?
Yeah, absolutely. I have that
All right, so let's
request
get
for you.
ourselves
Just waiting
back
close
over
and
to
grab
it.
First.
Roger,
climb and maintain 6,000.
Charlie Romeo 47, Burlington altimeter 3005, more than 1 hour old.
So we'll go to 24 and 24.
3005.
We're letting auto do a little bit more than I normally do. Just because I got my hands full, I want to get the navigation right. So we'll let auto fly the
Delta
plane for us while we do the
5651, contact
navigation.
Washington
24
Center
and 24.
133.72. Have a good day.
We'll enrich until we're within that blue arc there.
13372, Delta 5651, good day.
And Center Mooney 5 and Fort Delta Victor's direct Marconi now, 4,400 for 6,000.
Mooney, Fort Delta Victor, roger.
All right. So, LFV Victor 1, I think it was 67 to Kennebunk.
Okay, 1015, turn left, taxi to the ramp.
Is the ramp here, 1015, you have great.
Yep, that'll work.
And let's see here, American 2130, climb and maintain 16,000, the Worcester altimeter 3011.
16,000 with
So
11,
24
2130.
and 24. So we're only doing 500 feet per minute in the climb because that's what autopilot defaults to. We could, pitch up and do our, climb at 105. Really, I think we're okay though. We'll just leave it. We'll let auto take care of that for us. No big deal. What we need to worry about right now is the navigation. So we're 20 miles west of Marconi, and then the next step is north from Marconi on a what? On a 002, it looks like. So we'll get the heading bug set to 002.
Okay, 1015, sorry, it's a bit tough to hear you there, but I think you said you might have just shutting down, which is all set. If you needed anything else from me, just say it again. I missed what you said.
No, Roger, I was just saying we're at ramp and shutting down. So sorry about that, and you have a great night, sir. 1015.
Yep, ET, thanks.
Yep.
Whoops, yeah,
JetBlue
I'm messing up here.
18, descend via the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 33 left, to Boston altimeter 3007.
Descend Roebuck 3, arrival, altimeter 3007. I think I heard runway 33 left.
Yeah. So I got a little disoriented there. I was trying to turn the heading bug to 002, not realizing that we were still in heading mode. And then I was trying to switch it to nav mode to have it track the radial. And then I got the altitude all messed up. But now we're okay. We're still climbing to 6,000. We're still navigating east direct to Marconi. The next step will be that 002 outbound. Let's make sure that's set to 002,
Delta
by the
31,
way.
cleared direct T
There we
Beta.
go. And then we want to be ready on the next navigation step, which will be north of Marconi to Scup. And then we'll be inbound to...
Boston Center, American 23.
This one is Kennebunk, so that's
First Delta
117.1.
505, climb and maintain for level 340. Climb and maintain
So
level 340.
117.1.
American 2318.
American 2318 requesting present position direct to KEWB. Flight plan route.
All right.
American 2318.
I think we got it. We're coming up on our cruise altitude now.
American 2318 direct to KEWB. Thanks.
Our level off. So the plane should capture that automatically. Altitude
Delta
capture
75
mode is
Alpha
lit
Boston
up there.
Center, good evening. The
Armed and
altimeter is
captured,
3007.
6,000s.
And just looking at some of the weather out there, do you have a preference on departure runway at all? Looks like maybe runway 24 might be better for you. Delta 775 Alpha, runway 24, taxi
Nope,
via
it's not going to do
Echo
it. Okay.
Charlie, cross runway 33.
Altitude mode off, put just a little bit down.
16 and Papa Alpha Center for Syracuse departure. You can contact
Let's go
ground
back
on
to
point
22 and 22. Kilo Zebra with the subscription. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate your support. Alright, so it's not descending, so I'm going to just take it out of autopilot mode. And I'll hand stabilize it at 6,000. And then we'll give the controls back to auto.
United, Boston Center, United 1035 is at 17,000 next merit.
So autopilot now at altitude 6,000. Okay, so there we go.
Climb and maintain for level 210.
I maintain 210, United 1035.
And who was the other one that I missed?
World Express 39.
And did we get Kennebunk set? 117.1. I think I got that set in the standby there,
Boston
yeah.
Center, ident.
Otto needs to go back to obedience school. Yeah, we'll send him over there with the next next class of the furry co-pilots, I guess. That's 7 miles, and then we're gonna kind of start this turn early because it's a pretty sharp turn. So we'll probably start at about
Express 3980 radar contact.
probably started at about 3 because we're a mile above that VOR. So it's only going to go down to 1, but at 180 knots, we are turning 3 miles a minute. So we're gonna anticipate that turn by about 2 miles, about 3.0 when it reads on that DME. We'll go ahead and start that turn to 002. Then the plan will be to figure out what's going on at Portland and what the weather conditions are there and what approach we would like into Portland.
Boston Center, good day. Go to the Boston Airport via the Bangor for departure. Radar vector is Kennebunk, Echo, November Echo. Direct Lawrence, and that is spelled Lima, Whiskey, Mike.
So I'm just trying to get the... so there's 3 miles. We'll go ahead and bang it into heading mode. We'll get that left turn going.
Squawk 4620.
We're going to set the arrow to 002 as well. Whoops, that way. We'll see how we do with the turn anticipation. Might scooch the heading bug out. Looks like we might have turned a little early, so we'll scooch the heading bug out just a little bit
ready to taxi.
as we very slightly cut the corner there.
Delta 775 Alpha, wind 06011.
And then just make sure we are indeed on a 002.
Turn left heading 220.
Looks like it might be a 3. When is that?
Takeoff.
Is that 001? Or something's right. That's 3000 there, we think. And then we'll just go. Yeah, it's hard.
Southwest 2296, contact
right
New York Center 125.32. Have a good day.
New York Center 125.32.
Now, this is one thing that bothers me, guys, about slant alpha navigation in this plane.
1318, contact Boston approach.
If that's a 002,
133.0, JetBlue 1318. Thank you for the
then that should be a 182. And it doesn't quite line up like it should, does it? So that bothers me a little bit. All right, there's the radio coming in.
Foxtrot from Portland, contact departure 119.75. I'll talk to you near.
Into nav mode here. Let auto capture that for us.
United 1035, descend via the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 33 left of Austin, altimeter 3007.
Slide the heading bug up just in case we get a turn.
Descend via the
We're all
Roebuck
set
3
for that.
arrival.
All right, so let's do our briefing for Portland. We are, well, let's make sure we know what we're doing for our next navigation step, first of all.
Boston Center, Brickyard 5760 with you direct.
So we're taking this out
12-4 for 17.
36 miles. So says that
Brickyard
number right there, 36 miles
Boston Center, climb and maintain
to
level
Scup,
270.
and then Scup is given in a
pretty good, how are you?
in terms of how far it is from Kennebunk. So at this point, even though it's not marked per se that way, I think there's a slight bend in the road there. That's a 002 there, but I think that's probably, yeah, 178 there. So there's a little bit of a bend in the road. At that point, Scup. So at 36 miles, we'll switch to where we're navigating inbound to Kennebunk.
Boston top.
Meantime,
Correction,
let's
Boston Center,
go ahead and figure out
out of cockpit for
what we're
around,
doing when we get
20
up to
minutes.
Portland. Let's get a
Again,
METAR observation. Or actually, let's check. Do we have?
approved, let me know
Oh,
when
we
you're
do
back.
have a Portland ATIS.
Local Air Canada 1475. I'll be right back.
So let's check that.
Air Canada
Delta
1123.
100 at 3, so a very, very light eastbound. 2 statute miles and mist, overcast at 1,000.
American
Oh boy.
2130, cross Basie
All
at
right, well.
maintain 8000, the Stewart altimeter 3010.
Easy at 8 with 10, American 21.
See what we got there. Got a runway 11. And let's see what we got in terms of approaches.
Delta 775 Alpha.
Well, we got an ILS
contact, climb and maintain 10,000, and when able,
What's the
proceed direct to
minimums?
Beers.
For straight in, 276. And 18 is 1,800
1
feet.
Eastern Val till 0.
So 2 statute miles is good. We can do that.
Rhode Island, Connecticut,
That's
and
fine.
New York. More information available upon request.
276. So we'll ask for the ILS 11. And it might be a dicey one.
Sorry.
Maine is not in this
And we
one,
can
no.
take that direct from Kennebunk because we've got a feeder leg here, 2300, 14.4, or we can get vectors to final. I think there's no particular need to do full approach from Kennebunk. So if he asks, if he's offering vectors to final, we'll take them, and if not, we'll fly the feeder from
toward the
Kennebunk.
Cambridge area. Once you hit
Brief
Cambridge,
that
you'll be clear of
approach
it.
fully in a minute,
Let
but
me
it's
know.
going to be probably a
From
dicey
where I
one
am, a left
weather-wise.
turn now might keep you on the north side of it. Let me know if you need.
Alright, let me check my radar.
All right, yeah. So let's go ahead and
1 second.
let's go ahead and run through that now since we got a moment. We're taking this out to
Seabird
36
113,
miles.
descend at pilot's discretion, maintain
And I'll tell you what,
level
what I
240.
need right quick is a break out of the cockpit. All right, so we're taking that out to 36. So I've got just a minute to do that.
Boston APS 2020 Heavy with default 230.
CBS 2020 Boston Center, hello.
Center number 5 on 4 Delta Victor, 2 minutes out of the cockpit.
34 Delta Vector approved, Boston altimeter 3007.
3007 will report back 5 4 Delta Victor.
Delta 775 Alpha, climb and maintain flood level 230. Delta 775 Alpha, climb and maintain flood level 230.
By any chance, do you have the ceiling for the moderate to heavy precipitation?
American 2318 Boston Center.
Go ahead for 2318, American.
American 2318, you able to give me a tops report or at least tell me if you're above the weather there at 32?
American 2318, I'll be honest, I don't see any weather where I am.
Okay, that'll work, thank you. How about American 142, did you have any information on possible tops for me just behind you or in that area?
I'm in the same boat as company, American 142.
Till the 775 Alpha, safe flight conditions?
Pretty still.
You know what Mom always used to say?
Okay, so you're in cloud now?
You should have gone before we left.
Just coming above it.
Sometimes you can keep a bottle with you. I don't think
Break
this
Air
bottle was going to cut it.
5760, best information I can get you is there's a couple guys not reporting anything, and then one saying the tops are at 12,000. I don't have any information myself on the potential tops, but that's the best I can tell you. Let me know how it goes for you.
Let me let him know we're back.
We'll stick with what we have, as we don't see much in front of us, and all that we do see looks to be at least 5,000 to 10,000 feet below our current 270. So we'll stay as filed.
Okay, very good, thanks.
Center 5, 4 Delta Victor, we're back on.
Trey runway 15, taxi via Alpha.
I was over top of him there, I think.
Ready 4 Delta Victor, thank you.
No, you got me. All right.
American 2130, contact New York approach 128.12, so long.
So again, taking this out to 36, I think I said. We're at 23 now.
Boston Center, good evening. Bonanza 72 Tango with you, 6,500.
Okay, yeah, 36 miles. And then Kennebunk inbound on a 178 is what that says. So we'll switch over in just a second. And then again, I think we'll see if we can get an updated weather briefing. What was the ATIS letter? Delta. Okay, so it hasn't changed. 0051, 0051. So it's the same exact observation. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes if there's bad weather rolling through, they'll update it more often, but it's usually updated once an hour. 100 at 3, 2 statute miles and mist, overcast at 1,000. So we should be okay with the minimums there being what they were, like 230 something. 276, so we'll say 300-foot minimums for our purposes. We should be okay with that, but the 2 statute miles and mist makes it interesting. 2 miles, though, is greater than the minimum visibility needed for the approach, which is 1,800 feet. Jet Pilot Cinnamon with the raid. We've had some very, very generous raids tonight. Thank you, JPC. We appreciate your support. We're making our way up to Portland, and the approach is going to be dicey. With the resub as well. Man, I
Thanks
just
for coming in today.
can't ask for much more amazing support than that. Thanks for the resub. Thanks for coming in today, says JPC, and indeed, same to you, sir. Head in the Cloud is with us.
Theater 113, cross Calverton.
Mike. I
250
was just saying the new mic sounds great. Glad that you think so, sir. We've been still kind of dialing in the audio setup.
2319.
Kitty Monsters here. Yeah. All kinds of familiar faces tonight. All kinds of familiar faces as I sweat mine off. Yeah, home AC still not working here. We've got the new unit on the way, expected to be delivered on Tuesday, but man, I'm roasting right now.
Good day, climb and maintain level 2.
Hope you guys appreciate the dedication. My God.
Air Canada.
32.4, we're going out to 36.
125.32.
So we're northbound on Victor 167 out here from Marconi. 36 miles, and then we'll be 52 miles inbound to Kennebunk on the
Canada 1123, contact New York Center 125.32.
So center up the heading bug, it is.
125.32 for Air Canada 1120.
Charlie Romeo 47, contact Montreal Center 128.77, take care.
We're close enough to the changeover point. I'm going to go ahead and just pop it into
thank you for
United
heading mode
1035,
here.
contact Boston approach 133.0.
330 for United 1035, good night.
Good night, EPS 2020, descend via the
heading mode
Roebuck 3
there.
arrival, runway 33 left, Boston altimeter 3007.
And Kennebunk, we're going to swap that in. Sorry, I'm distracting myself. 117.10 was Kennebunk, and a 178, so that's going to be a 358. So that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks left of where we were, I think. Is that, well, if that's due north, then we're 2 clicks left. Alright, so we're close to being on that. We'll go ahead and let auto lock that in for us as we go back into nav mode, and there we go.
Canada
Distance in
1475, thank you.
to Kennebunk now 51.6, 51.5, and counting down. If we were to plan a top of descent, we're going to be 14 miles to get to Buckstow. Buckstow's at 23. And we're at 6,000, so we'd only need, well, let's see. How many miles do we need to make our descent? We're at 6,000. We're going to go to 2.3 thousand, so we got 3.7 thousand miles to lose. I like to use 3.5 miles per thousand, which is a slightly more conservative descent ratio than most use, but that gives us 13 miles essentially. And since this is 14.4, it seems kind of perfectly ideal to say we could cross Kennebunk at 6, which is what we're at now, and still make Buckstow at 23. So
United Bravo X-ray, wind 18018, runway 15.
So that math works out fortuitously. My high school algebra teacher always used to mock algebra textbooks where you'd get this massive formula and you're asked to simplify it. And when you go through and you simplify it, you expand it out, and this cancels that, and you end up with like 3x. And he's just like, oh, how fortuitous. Like, you know, when you get into engineering, nothing simplifies to just like 3x. So he gave us tests that he wrote himself, and none of them simplified to anything fortuitous like that, because he was just always like, it's kind of a dead giveaway that you have the answer right when you come up with something like that. So when you do his test and you come up with a massive mess, you're like, is this the correct massive mess, or is this an incorrect massive mess? It makes you go back and check your work and make sure that you're right. But yeah, oh, how fortuitous. That was always his thing, like when it's simplified out to like nothing.
75 Alpha, gonna get you higher here in a couple minutes. There's traffic just passing above you at audible 320, so just stay where you are here at 31, and I'll get more for you in a second. Delta 4033, leaving my airspace. Cleveland is closed. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Have a good one.
Over to Unicon, Delta 4033. We'll see you.
Take care.
Alright, and then back to V-Pilot.
Delta 775 Alpha, climb and maintain level 380.
Information Delta.
American 2318, traffic 11 o'clock, 5 miles westbound CRJ, level 310. They'll be climbing to your altitude more than 5 miles in front of you.
Alright, so the question is, are we going to get vectored to final, or are we going to need to fly the leg from Kennebunk? If we need to fly the leg from Kennebunk, it's fine. So it's no procedure turn if we come straight in, obviously.
Good day, radar contact position as reported, squawk 4773.
This leg here is not marked no procedure turn, so it looks like instead of making the 90-degree right onto final, We're almost 90 degree right on the final. It does look like we would need to
KPWM 9 Bravo X-ray radar contact, climb and maintain 10,000.
use a course reversal here. So I'd much rather do this the lazy way and get vectored to final. If we do get
American 1003 descend via the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway
outbound,
33
and then we
left,
do the reversal in this way.
3007.
Again, it seems like we're turning contrary to the hold direction, which is a clockwise hold. However, that doesn't matter as much as staying on the same side of the approach as the hold. So when you track out in a parallel entry, you're always going to kind of end up turning contrary to the hold direction to rejoin that course. It's not as, the direction is not as critical as being on the correct side of the final approach course in that case.
Delta 775 Alpha, contact New York Center 125.32.
So hopefully he'll give us vectors to final. That'll be a lot easier. We've done all the hard stuff already.
Speedbird 113, contact New York approach 128.12. Take care.
Let's just double check. We're at 20, it could be 2200 and 22 on the manifold pressure.
American 2318, traffic no factor, contact New York Center 125.32.
Didn't get leaned out. The other thing we can do, it looks like we can switch back to the left-hand tank now. So there's peaking at 1550, so we'll enrich to 1500.
133.0, good night.
33.0, good night.
Okay, so the left tank is heavier now, so we'll go ahead and switch over to the left side. Well, it wasn't heavier by much. It already clicked down from 14 to 13. And so it was, since fuel flow is 13, that means we've got almost 2 hours of fuel left. Yep, 151 is what that says. So we got plenty. We're 35 miles from Kennebunk, and then, you know, so that's what? That's, well, I was going to say it's 10 minutes or so, but it's telling us exactly. It's 12 minutes at this speed. So,
United 382 Boston Center, you're 555. Break November 2 Romeo Foxtrot Boston Center, the Portsmouth altimeter 3010.
Yeah, so plenty of fuel. We'll see, well, our fuel estimates, our time and fuel estimates are going to be kind of way off because of the diversion and the hold. So really at the end of tonight, we're just going to basically make sure we land with at least 45 minutes reserve, which I think will be plenty. I tend to plan pretty conservatively, so I think we'll be plenty okay. If we fly for another hour, we're still landing with a 45-minute reserve, so.
China Eastern 512 Boston Center, good morning to you. The
4 days here. How are you? 4 days from now. When we get close to Portland, guys, I will I'll let you know. Basically, once we're established inbound on final approach course, or maybe even as we start to get established on that approach, we do a monthly raffle on this channel, guys. If you're new to the channel, we actually do 2 monthly raffles, one of which you can enter by racking up Twitch channel points, those alphabets points at the bottom of the chat panel. 1,000 gives you 1 entry, 5,000 gets you 6 entries. Don't worry about that one. That one you can enter later because we're not doing that drawing until July 30th. So save yourself up to that 5,000 and enter that one later on. For tonight, though, the other one that we do is a raffle that you can enter by being the closest predictor of our descent rate upon touchdown. And I guess I better double check. This little widget tends to not work sometimes, so I'm going to close it and reopen it just to be sure. When we get close, when we get established on final, or when we get established, when we commence the approach, I guess we'll say it that way. When we commence the approach, what we'll have you do is start entering numbers into the chat, and there's no bot command, there's no automated means for doing this. We just eyeball it. We look through the chat for the numbers. So we'll just have you enter a number into the chat in terms of the predicted vertical descent rate at the moment the wheels touch. We don't care if you use the minus sign or not. We know whether you put a positive or negative number in. We know you mean a descent rate. So just a number into the chat in terms of feet per minute. Don't need it yet. I'll tell you when. Don't need it yet. But once we get established, or commencing the approach, we'll get those numbers into the chat, and The closest one in either direction will get entered into that monthly raffle that will pull on July 30th, along with the Twitch Alphabet Point raffles entrance. So July 30th, we're going to pull both of those raffle winners for the month of July.
Boston Center, good evening. November 495 Mike Charlie.
So I'm going to just check in with him, let him know. I'm going to just make sure that that's updated the ATIS. But I'm just going to let him know that we got information Delta. That way that he knows we're
November 495 Mike Charlie.
ready to
Boston
commence
Center,
that ILS runway 11
3011. Have you got the letter?
See if we can get him to give us vectors to final. I don't think the wings over New England.
And we'll put in the altimeter for 495 Mike Charlie.
IFR 11 says anything about having to do any particular approach.
UPS 2020, contact Boston approach 133.0.
133.0, have a good one, UPS 2020 heavy.
American 2126.
So it says, don't be surprised if you're asked to do the full approach instead of receiving vectors. So we'll do whatever he says. No, Kilo Zebra, we don't need to request an approach. The ATIS information at Portland says we're to expect the ILS 11. But I'm just going to let him know that we have that information. Boston Center, Mooney 5 and 4 Delta Victor. We got information Delta at Portland.
24 Delta Victor, thank you. Let Portland approach no on 119.75. Good night.
1975, 5 and 4 Delta Victor. See it.
And Boston Center, November 495 Mike Charlie. We're just checking the weather on
19.
And
75.
we will.
Swap that in.
Runway 11, line up and wait.
And
Runway 11.
do they have a tower controller on? No, they don't. So Portland, they don't have ground controller on either. So it's just going to be the approach controller rest of the way in.
Go Cape Air. Number on the Foxtrot
1021. We're still trying to figure out your transponder. Just to confirm, what pilot line are you using?
And this guy is a Twitch streamer too. I don't know if he's streaming right now
click
though.
on the standby button to switch it to mode, Charlie.
D-Solvenic or something like that.
Can you do that?
But I don't know if he's streaming right now. Portland approach, Mooney 5 and 4 Delta Victor, information Delta 6000.
Mooney 5, 14 Delta Victor, Portland approach from altimeter 3010. Expect the ILS runway 11 approach.
Alright, 3010, expecting ILS 11, 5 and 4 Delta Victor.
And Portland departure, Carpath 69, we're ready to taxi and we can take intersection.
Alright, let's go ahead, since we're already switched up to Kennebunk, let's go ahead and dial in the frequencies 109.9 and 110. So we'll get that in standby for
the 4818 Delta traffic rolling runway 11.
For nav 1, 109.
The option 11, traffic is
9 and 9. Oh, I almost hit swap.
Okay,
Not ready to do that just yet.
11 at, so did you see able
If we need to go missed,
Yeah, we're able to echo for
Care 559, runway 11 at exit.
600 straight, and back to Kennebunk. Okay, easy enough. So that is pretty straightforward one, 117.1, and kind of southwest bound. Doesn't really matter. Well, I'll set 262 just because that's the hold.
November 3, India Mike, follow the traffic,
hold direction. So 117.1 and 262. And we'll set that up in the nav too. 117.1. And what did I say? 262? Yeah. Let's see if I can actually do math correctly. There's 261 and 2. Okay, there's good. Alright, so we're set for the mist. We are
November, Romeo Foxtrot 102, contact Boston Center 134.
halfway set for the approach. Minimums, we said 276, so we're going to call that 300. We know that what are the winds? 100 at 3, so I have very, very light winds coming mostly down the center line. So no appreciable crosswind, at least if it's as predicted. And we know that we're in 2 statute miles and mist with overcast at 1,000. So we do need to be very, very attentive to that 300-foot minimums because the visibility is going to be extremely compromised. So we will need to be ready to go mist if we have to.
Runway 11 is going to be Skyhawk.
If we do successfully make it down at Portland, then it's a left-hand turnoff, and I guess we'll go to the north apron. Does it really matter? Terminal aprons here. Well, okay, we'll go to the FBO. Yeah, we'll just tell them north apron. That's close enough. We'll kind of probably park up here near the FBO building, but that's okay. We'll just north apron up off of Charlie's font, so it'll be a left-hand turnoff. Anywhere along the length of runway 11 there. I think we got the briefing done, all the key salient points. Let's double check. Approach, frequency, and course. We've got the frequency and standby. Course is 110. We'll set that when we can. Missed approach, frequency, and course is dialed into the NAV2. Minimums were discussed at 300. We talked about the ceiling. We talked about the crosswind. We talked about the missed approach procedure. We talked about the turn-off route and taxi route. So I think we're all set, guys. We're as set as we're going to be, at least. We will switch to the heaviest tank when we commence that approach. Right now, they're pretty evenly balanced. And we'll throw the taxi light on with landing clearance.
Taxi running 11. Yeah.
I think we're as ready as we're going to be, guys.
Care 559, runway 11, line of way.
1 line of way, Care 559. And pulling approach, Sky 18 Delta.
Skyhawk 18 Delta, traffic is a...
6 miles from Kennebuck. So we kind of need to know, does he want us to fly a vector? Does he want us to... fly the approach? We haven't gotten cleared to do anything yet.
Good.
After this pass, we'd like to depart VFR to the north up to Brunswick, Bravo X-ray Mike.
And before 18 Delta, roger. For now, follow traffic. No, you are number 2.
So the clearance that we got was Kennebuck direct. So absent any other instruction, we turn right to the airport at this point.
Joint final 11, 0 Fox Lima.
Number 363, Indy Mike Jeff, visual with the traffic. It's going to be
and that's a 062 heading.
Well. Sorry, yeah, 2 o'clock, 1 mile down as well.
I'm guessing he wants us to do something else, but we'll see what he says.
Okay, 559, fly heading 180, runway 11, clear for takeoff.
Fly heading 180, runway 11, clear for takeoff, Care 559.
Number 363, Indy Mike, confirm you have the traffic?
Yeah, we've traffic, 3 Indy Mike.
Number 3, Indy Mike, roger. Follow the traffic at number 3.
Follow the traffic, number 3 Indy Mike.
Approach 5 and 4 out to Victor's 2.5 miles from Kennebuck. Do you want us to direct the airport after that?
Sorry, number 5 on 4 Delta Victor after Kennebuck, fly heading 03, picture 020.
020, 5 and 4 out to Victor.
Number 90 Foxtrot Lima, runway 11, clear for the option.
Oh, 1 clear for the option, 0 Fox Lima.
Alright, 1.8, 1.7. Pretty much as soon as it,
And 3 Indy Mike.
Yeah, see, the closing speed is dropping off because we're getting ready to pass it. Yep, there we go. Closing speed drops off because the VOR becomes a beam view. You're not getting any closer to it as you pass it over. So we're still going full speed. We're just going full speed past it rather than toward it at this point. So we'll go ahead and pop it into heading mode. All right, so we don't need nav aids anymore. We're just flying the heading that he gave us of 020. And that means we can go ahead and swap in that ILS frequency. 1099 and 110 is the
800 feet from Care 559.
Okay, 559, roger. Clear direct Kennebuck, Care climb maintain 6000.
Direct Kennebuck, climb maintain 6000, Care 559.
I'm sorry, was it 100 or 1? I think it was 110. Yep, there we go.
Number 4818 Delta traffic for final
so he's
runway
got us
1,
on a straight up base here.
The option.
Clear to the option 11 number 2, traffic at site, 18 Delta.
Skyhawk 170 DCA is with us.
On the
Wow.
go, you can,
Haven't seen you here in a little bit, man, but good to have you back on.
Alright, on course and the go, 18 Delta.
We're kind of above the glide slope. It's been a while. Oh, it's been away, he says. Okay, well, that explains it. All right, we'll take it as an excuse, I guess.
River 514 Delta Victor, send maintain 1,800.
I'm sorry, say again for 514 Delta Victor.
River 514 Delta Victor, send maintain 1,800.
1,800, 514 Delta Victor. All right. All right, my airplane, guys.
And 363 India Mike, extend you downwind if you can.
Get some power. Get some RPMs back in it.
Is that good?
Yeah, we're going to do the same thing with the other aircraft, and we're going to divert north south.
363 India Mike, roger on the go, proceed on course.
All right,
1800. Fox Lima, report your intention.
Fox Lima, look at taxi back to parking.
90 Fox Lima, taxi be Alpha and Charlie to the right.
And we'll get some power down. Get the RPM steady at 2. Yay for vectors. Yeah, indeed. Done enough hard work for one night, and I'm still roasting in here. So, we'll maintain about, if we can, maybe about a 1,200 foot. I want to also try and decelerate as well. Losing lots of speed and lots of altitude at the same time, probably not usually a good combination. And I know the Mooney has that speed brake, guys. I'm not using it on purpose because it's just a matter of pride. I want to be able to control the airplane's speed without using it. If we get really in trouble, we will, but I try not to use it, but I do know it's there, so you can remind me if you want, but I already know.
Traffic going to be departing ahead, runway 11, clear for the option.
The option following departing traffic, green and like.
Baker 30, clear for 50.
Is the Mooney Freebird? No, it is a Carenado. It's the Carenado Mooney. I can't remember what it would cost, but it was pretty reasonable.
Expect 113011, the altimeter.
It's a Carenado product. It's available in the marketplace. It is fun. It is a nice little plane, by the way. Give you a nice shot of it. I know I don't do a lot of external views, guys. I'm focused on the instruments most of the time.
Green at 765, fly, runway heading, runway 11, clear for takeoff, traffic 2 mile final.
Clear for takeoff and runway heading. Green at 765.
Remember that 300 foot minimums, guys.
Number 514 Delta Vector, 6 miles from Maine at turn right heading 080. Maintain 1,800 until south from the local as a cleared ILS runway 11 approach.
All right, 080 till established and clear for the ILS runway 11 approach, 54 Delta Victor. All right, guys, you can start putting those predictions in. Again, no bot command is necessary.
Number 4818 to Delta, just confirm the aircraft type again.
Just a number into the chat, positive or negative. We don't even really need the minus sign.
And bridge over 760.
We need to have that number in the chat before minimums, guys. 300 feet is last call.
Break up 57, center maintain 6,000.
6,050, 760.
So, yep, Kilo Zebra, yeah, that's fine. Perfect, no bot command necessary.
Set squawk 2017.
Just a number into the chat just like you did. We're below the glide slope now, so I think we're going to be okay. And we do have some speed to bleed off yet, but I think we'll be okay. I'm going to start increasing props just a little bit. That'll help us to slow down. But yeah, just a number into the chat, no bot command, minus sign is optional.
Contact, stay passing altitude.
And closest one in either direction is going to be the...
stay passing altitude.
Going to be the entrant into our monthly raffle, which will pull the winner on July 30th. You don't need to be present to win. If you happen to win and you're not on stream that night, we'll just contact you via Twitch Whisper. Unless you're on our Discord, then we'll hit you up on that.
Climb maintain 10,000.
There's the localizer coming in.
Carenado 765 cleared, direct, Kennebunk, Echo November Echo.
Center up the heading bug just to minimize distractions, but again, hand flying, and we're down to 1800. Almost at 1800. So we need to level the plane off, start configuring for landing here. 7.9 on the DME. We're intercepting this thing at what?
We got 5760 clear direct, Buxton, 2,300.
Buxton down to 2,300 rather for 3760.
And November 363, Mike, just confirm your aircraft type.
That's 1800. We are essentially established. Let's get corrected on the localizer here. Power down, props up. Once we get below that white arc, we'll throw flaps 1. 6.5. Okay, we're at the final approach fix. We'll go ahead and get the gear and get the flaps 2 as soon as we're sure we're under the flap deployment speed here.
514 Delta Victor, wind 1004, runway 11 clear to land.
11 clear to land, 514 Delta Victor. So we do need to get speed now. Okay, there we go. Speed's coming down. We'll aim for about 90 knots. We still need to correct back over onto the loc. We're a little high on glide slopes. We'll get down there without plummeting to the ground. And we did get our landing clearance. Alright, so we're holding on that last notch of flaps. Otherwise, I think we're good here. We'll go ahead and do a real quick landing check as soon as we are sure that we've got this excess altitude off. Oops, overcorrected on the loc. Let's get back over to the right. 4.3 out. Still looking to get this excess
And
altitude.
November 4818 Delta, just confirm you're landing in BXM.
Yes, sir. We're going to be VFR to Brunswick.
Number 4818 Delta, roger.
Alright. Way off on the loc. Glide slope's starting to look better.
Breaker 5760, maintain that 2,300, so snapshot low.
Coming up on last call for those predictions, guys.
Alright, 2,300 full establishment localizer cleared, ILS Runway 11 approach 750.
Alright, we're fairly dialed in. 500, minimums are 300. Last call for those predictions. There we go. Got the approach lighting. We're good. Continuing. Flaps are set and check. Gear is green. Landing clearance received. Missed approach altitude 2000. I think. Little fast. I like to be at 75 down final, 70 over the numbers. So we'll see if we can bleed that extra bit of speed off here on final, but got lots of runway. I'm not going to worry about it too much.
Boston Center 134.7, good day.
Over to Center, KPYM, thank you for your day.
Left hand turn off if we land successfully. Yeah, we'll take that. Little floaty, because like I said, it was a little fast on final, but we'll We'll take it. Under the circumstances, we'll take it. 75 on final, 70 over the numbers is preferable there. That would have avoided some of that floating. But all in all, I call it a win. We're off right there by the terminal building, which looks like we're off at Delta.
For Delta Victor, welcome to Portland. Just confirm where you're going to be passing through.
Say again?
514 Delta Victor, just confirm you are parking.
Yeah, North Apron FBO is fine.
514 Delta Victor, Roger, taxi via Alpha and Charlie to the ramp, and you have, just for information, you've passed your IFR 11.
Alright, Alpha, Charlie to the ramp, and thanks for the IFR 11, 514 Delta Victor. Alright guys, we'll get cleaned up here just a moment. Let's go ahead and get the flaps in. We'll talk about the winning number here in just a moment, so sit tight for that. We'll get cleaned up. Flaps are in. Strobe lights off. Recognition landing lights off. And pitot heat can come off. We're going straight. We turn right Delta. Going to make the next left here on Charlie. And then we'll talk about the predictions, and we'll figure out who our winning entrant into our July 30th raffle
sorry for the low frames.
has become.
There's a lot of clouds. I'm sorry about that.
Breaker 5760, no problem at all. Runway 11, clear to land.
Clear to land 11, and can you give me those winds if you don't mind?
And it was 1104.
1104, roger, thank you. And
If I get a chance to run over a ground vehicle, we will. Actually, I don't know if I think we'll just pass through those. Since I'm not sure, I think maybe I better not hit them. I'm pretty sure you pass through right through those. I know we'll take out a couple of edge lights instead. Clunk. Clunk. Just put them on our tab. We're a very famous streamer. We can afford it. All those subs and donations and cheer bits will cover all that. That's fine. Yeah, traffic 12 o'clock, same direction, same altitude, exactly. Hey Taylor, good to see you back here, man. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Actually, I think you did pop in on a recent stream, and I had my hands full. I didn't get a chance to say hi. Or if I did, I maybe responded to your message and meant to circle back and say hi. Yeah, I know, it was two-way taxiways, that's right. But anyway, no, good to see you here, man, as always. Hey, Taylor, you coming out to Expo? Flight Sim Expo, guys, September 24th to 26th. We'll talk about that in a minute, too. Yan Lang, 1234 with us. Yan Lang, how are you? And are we... Where's the airport bar? Well, the airport bar's probably over there, but that's okay. Well, I'm sure somebody's got something stashed in their desk in this building. We'll go ahead and pull up here and park. I know you guys are waiting for the winning number. We'll get that to you in just a second. Then get parked, shut down. Government keeps you working. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Having a job is not a bad thing all the time. All right, parking brake off. Parking brake on, rather. Taxi lights off. Let's see what else we need to do here. Transponder can go back to 1200. So that was one thing we forgot to set the squawk. He gave us a little bit of a pass on that, and we'll go ahead and shut the transponder off now too. Let's turn off the secondary radios. Yeah, there and there. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. Transponder, ComStack, ADF, radio master now can come off. Whoops. What did I just do? Oh my god, I'm moving stuff around. I don't mean to be moving around. Radio master, not altimeter yet. Radio master. What else? So the ordinarily would flip the mag switch. Just blip the mag switch real quick, just to make sure that it does indeed kill power to the mags. If you do that in this sim, that stupid logbook window comes up. So I'm not going to do that, but we'll pretend we'll just blip it real quick, and hopefully we hear the engine stutter. That means that you know that when you're sitting on the ramp with the mags off, you don't inadvertently have power to the mags. it's a good safety thing on the ramp. If you pass by a plane with live mags that and you bump the prop, you can actually start it up for a second and cause yourself some injury. So you'd never want to have your magnetos on the ramp, and it's a good thing to just blip that switch and make sure it does indeed cut power. So we'll presume we've done that, and now at this point we'll just go ahead and pull the mix. Now we get that stupid logbook thing. Shut that off there, and prop leader can come down as well. I think at this point we can go mags off for real. And I think it's just the nav. Yeah, I'm sorry. The lights would have come off, and then the alternator and battery. Let's just make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, fuel selector come off as well. There we go. All right, I think we got everything. Let's talk about that winning number and figure out who our big winner was. Again, yeah, we were a little fast on finals, so we were right over the blocks, but we were about 10, maybe 10 knots fast. So we did float a little long, but the eventual touchdown was pretty good. Center line adherence was good, and like I said, you know, under the circumstances, the extremely challenging approach with very low visibility, I'm not going to beat myself up over a little bit of extra speed on final. So, yeah, very good. 84 was our winning number. Now, Taylor put 84.7 into the chat. How in the heck did you do that? Good gravy. Let me scroll back. Where were the rest of the predictions? 101, 134, 120, 84.7 said Taylor. And I almost guarantee you that that was well before we actually landed. I'm a little... That's crazy now. Oju said 146, 4-day 75. Yeah. Absolutely. And Taylor, you get 2 entries. For being dead on, you get 2 entries. I don't know about the 0.7, but I'm pretty sure the whole round number was indeed 84. I almost have to go back and check now. But yeah, Taylor for getting that number dead on. We will give you 2 entries. Winner will be pulled on July 30th stream, and if you are not here, it's okay. We will contact you through either Twitch or Discord. No problem. What's the Taylor U10? Taylor U10, and we are at KPWM on July, what is it, 14th? All right, Taylor, there you go. I'm going to do the second ticket right there, just like it, for you here in just a moment. But there we go. All right. There she is, guys. Let's give you a nice. Oh, let's give you a nice closing shot that includes the tower. We got 2 towers here, or is that just goofy scenery? I have no idea. Can we do one that includes the call sign? Hey, there we go. I like that. There's a good closing shot for you. All right. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think we had 2 control towers at Portland. Oh, that one's a T hanger that got modeled incorrectly. I got you. Gotcha. All right, let's adjust this just a little bit. Do want to thank all of you. We had quite a few new folks here tonight. Hope that you will stop back and see us again. Slant Alpha refers to navigating by only the analog radio gauges, the radio navigation gauges, the VOR and ILS receivers, and the organic radio signals that produce those deviation needles. No moving map, no GPS, no cheating. Just the radio beacons and the charts. And that's how we navigate on this channel for the most part. We occasionally fly the Flight Factor 757. We occasionally fly that wonderful working title CJ4 mod. So we do fly a mix of X-Plane 11 and Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 here. But yeah, we mostly do this old school radio navigation only. We do have the Douglas DC-6 now for Microsoft Flight Sim. That's been officially added to the hangar. We, of course, also fly the AeroWorks Freeware DC-3 for X-Plane 11. We're doing a Mediterranean tour in that thing right now. Actually, we're crossing back into mainland Europe on that tour, coming back up and over the North Atlantic, coming back toward stateside. So you can check that out. If you want to know what's coming up in the short term on the channel, our Facebook and Twitter pages are great resources. You can follow us on as Slant Alpha on both of those, and we'll let you know what's coming up. If you want the full show schedule, it's down there under the About tab. We also have a copy of that on our Facebook page and over on our Discord server as well. Bottom right, when the FS Expo ad goes away, bottom right is where you can find the link to that Discord server. Go ahead and jump in on there. If there was anything you saw tonight that you had questions about, some of it came kind of fast and furious, but if you have questions about anything I did with the navigation there, be happy to kind of play it back and diagram it out for you. Or if you just want to stop over there and say hi and shoot the breeze, or just hang out or ask questions about anything else, we got a good tech support channel over there. We also are always interested in helping folks get onto the VATSIM network if they're interested in trying, but just aren't sure what to say to VATSIM controllers or how to put routes together. We've got a bunch of tutorials over there on our YouTube channel over in the lower left-hand side. That's where all of our old flight broadcasts are. But we've also got some tutorials over there on a playlist called VATSIM Tutorials, and then we got another tutorial playlist for the Wings Over New England flights that we're doing here for the Boston Virtual Air TCC. So this will go on that playlist after we get it uploaded to the YouTube channel 24 hours and change from now. All right, guys, Flight Sim Expo coming up in September 24th through 26th at the Town and Country Resort, San Diego, California. I'll be attending that in person. You can check us out on stream there. If you aren't able to make it, you can check us out. We'll show you as much of that event as we can. Now, we can't show you the seminars and meetings and speakers, but we can definitely walk around the show floor, show you the folks that are set up to exhibit their wares, softwares, and hardwares. We'll show you as much as we can of that. Plus, I'm sure we'll show you some of the stuff that goes on after the show floor closes and some of the after-hours stuff that goes on, which is lots of fun, too. Really the best feature of that thing is to go and put faces to faces to names with all these folks that we hang out with in a virtual world, and we only get to see them, once a year sometimes. I'm so excited for this event. I'm literally counting down the hours. If I can get this in front of the camera without taking my mic down. 1,690 hours to go until Flight Sim Expo 2021. Now that's until I leave here for my flight, so you got to add about 30 to that. So it's about 1,720 hours to the actual event Friday afternoon. This is counting down till Thursday morning when I leave here, heading down to BWI Airport in Baltimore to hop on my flight out to San Diego. So yeah, we're looking forward to that event big time, guys. If any of you are on our Discord server and you are definitely attending, definitely let me know, because we have a channel where we will be coordinating meetups. We're going to try and hook up with some friends out there and have, food and drinks together and just kind of hang out, shoot the breeze, compare notes, and again, get a chance to put faces to names. The only time in a year that we get the opportunity to do that. Oh, so Yan Lang works for one of the FBOs that loves seeing people flying. Well, glad for us to have made the stop here for you. Appreciate you stopping in and checking us out. Hopefully you'll be back and see us again. Coming up on the stream, by the way, we've got some real cool ones, which I say kind of tongue-in-cheek because it's really hot in this room. Our new air conditioning is on the way, but it's not yet here, and it's a little bit warm, and I'm hopeful that you're appreciative of the dedication, that I just didn't cancel a week's worth of streams until I'm waiting for that thing to get here. But anyway, we do have some really cool ones coming up, no pun intended, as we continue that Douglas Overseas tour on Friday. That's that AeroWorks Douglas DC-3 for X-Plane 11. That's going to be on Friday. We last landed in, so the schedule says Rome, but it was actually Pisa that we last landed in Italy. We're going to head up to Innsbruck, Austria, and then on to Frankfurt, Germany. That's on Friday the 16th. We'll start that up at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's our normal schedule, by the way. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, show starts 7 p.m. Eastern, which is 2300 Zulu here during Daylight Savings. Then we are doing a special show on Sunday. We don't normally fly during the weekends for you, but we've got a real special one on Sunday the 18th at 3 p.m. Eastern, 1900 Zulu. That is Chicago ARTCC's version of VAT Venture. Their virtual version of the EAA AirVenture fly-in, the famous one up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And the Chicago controllers have done a fantastic job of replicating the ambiance of that very, very busy, hectic Fisk VFR arrival procedure into Oshkosh. It temporarily becomes the busiest airport in the entire world. They jam-pack planes along that arrival as close as they can with a very kind of non-standard procedure. There's a couple dozen page NOTAM that you have to read in order to be prepared for that. And the Chicago ARTCC on VATSIM does a virtual version of it that they really do a bang-up job and replicate that whole excitement and feel, and I guess ambiance is the best word for it, of that insane Fisk VFR arrival. You can check out our video of that from last year. We did it on X-Plane 11 with the Beach Baron. We're going to do it this year in this very same Mooney for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. So we'll even have better, I think, probably better visual references to follow that arrival into Oshkosh. So yeah, should be a fun one. That's on Sunday. Monday the 19th, and we're back on our normal schedule. We'll resume this very series here, Wings over New England, number 12, IFR 12, doing continuous descent final approaches. We're going to leave here at Portland and head down to Sanford and then on to Bedford for number 13. So IFR 12 and 13 coming up on Monday the 19th at 7, and then hopefully our air conditioning will be back in after that. Woof! All right, guys, well, thanks again for checking us out. Before you leave, let me at least see who we've got streaming that we can send the channel over to. Always love supporting our friends. Oh, my goodness. We got some good ones to choose from. Let me just see. I tend to favor general aviation flyers. I'll tell you what, though. Our friends, the Big Show, our friends Dane Flats and Sim Caesar are flying that 727, which is an airliner, but it's an airliner that you do with radio navigation only, and they're flying that into DCA. I feel like I ought to just jump on tower for them. I wonder if anybody's on tower for them. Maybe somebody beat me to it. Yeah, it looks like we're pretty well staffed over there, so we'll let those guys handle that. Okay, good. Well, anyway, but we'll go ahead and send you over to the Big Show. Again, Dane Flats and Sim Caesar tag teaming in a shared cockpit scenario with that FlyJ Sim 727 for X-Plane 11. Lots of fun, and they argue like an old married couple, and you wouldn't want to miss out on that either. So do stay tuned. We'll kick you over to them automatically. Do send them some Slant Alpha Adventures love when you get there. Again, it's a jet, but it's a radio navigation only jet, so very much in the spirit of this channel, and do enjoy and tell them that we said hello. All right, we'll talk to you again next time. So from where are we going next? What's today? Oh, yeah, so we're back over to Italy. All right, well, from Italy, we will see you on Friday. In the meantime, have a great rest of your week. Be safe and healthy in your own travels and your own adventures, and we'll talk to you then.